Naruto God Level System, Chapter 241 to 260. Chapter 241 1 vs 4 Konoha. Lord Madara, Konoha and Sunagakure have already started a war, and the villages of Iwagakure and Kumogakure are also about to move, and there are signs of joining them. It is estimated that the Third Ninja War is about to start completely. White Zetsu reported to Uchiha Madara. The chaotic ninja world will never stop fighting. Only infinite Tsukuyomi, in a beautiful fantasy world, can achieve true peace. Uchiha Madara sneered. But this is also our chance. Uchiha Madara closed his eyes and thought for a moment, then said. The current 5 countries have strong military power, and it is very difficult to realize the infinite Tsukuyomi plan. We must take the opportunity to weaken it. With the ability of that kid Nagato, even if he has my Rinnegan, he will not be the opponent of the 5 great powers. It seems that this war, I have to intervene. Uchiha Madara's eyes sparkled. If you want to suppress the 5 great powers, you must have the level of power of Senju Hashirama. However, Uchiha Madara does not think Nagato can grow to this point. If the power of the 5 major countries cannot be weakened now, it will be very difficult to collect tailed beasts in the future. Did you find the pawn? I want to execute the plan. Uchiha Madara asked. White Zetsu scratched his head. Madara-sama's requirements are too high, and it is difficult to find suitable pieces for you. Then look for it quickly, I don't have much time left. Uchiha Madara said in a deep voice. He could feel his current situation. Even if Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, sent his vitality, he couldn't hold on for much longer. Years. White Zetsu nodded quickly, he also knew the importance of this. I'm going to the country of water now. If there is something important, you can go to the country of water and inform me. Uchiha Madara disconnected the connecting pipe of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, and stood up. Controlled 3 generations of Mizukage before, now is the time to make a difference. Madara-sama, on Hyuga-chan's side. Don't mention him again, Uchiha Madara snapped. Over the years, he had deliberately forgotten Hyuga-chan. Because every time Hyuga-chan was mentioned, he couldn't help but hate in his heart. As long as he hated, his soul would suffer boundless pain. To be honest, over the years, Uchiha Madara, who is arrogant and condescending to the world, has had a slight fear of Hyuga-chan, and he may not have noticed it himself. Uchiha Madara will never face Hyuga-chan until the spell that binds his soul is resolved. Seeing that Uchiha Madara was angry, White Zetsu quickly retreated. Uchiha Madara, who came to the land of water, controlled the 3 generations of Mizukage and sent secret letters to Iwagakure and Kumogakure villages, inviting them to deal with Konoha together. Father, the land of water has never been involved in the ninja battles, and has been hiding overseas. This time we are invited to deal with Konoha together. Will it be deceitful? Onoki's son Lois had doubts on his face. Onoki looked at the letter in his hand, shook his head and said, I don't know, but you should be careful. Our country of land used to have enmity with the country of water. Don't respond to them for the time being, just observe it first. Once the 2nd generation Tsuchikage and the 2nd generation Mizukage perished together, but the 2 villages forged a big feud. So Onoki did not dare to agree easily at this time. What if Kurigakure village and Konoha village join forces to deal with them together? Unlike Onoki, the 3rd generation of Reikage, who received the invitation of the 3rd generation of Mizukage, was very happy. Ha ha ha, it seems that God is going to destroy Konoha, and the people in Kurigakure village can't sit still. It seems that we have a chance to take revenge. 3 generations of Reikage laughed. Their Kumogakure village and Kurigakure village have no conflict, so there is no need for Kurigakure village to pit them, so this alliance request should be true. 3 generations of Reikage, without a word, form an ally with the village of Kurigakure and fight against Konoha together. Of course, the 3rd generation of Reikage is not stupid. He said that the village of Kurigakure must take action first, and then the village of Kumogakure will do it. And the 3 generations of Mizukage, controlled by Uchiha Madara, also directly agreed. Anyway, the purpose of Uchiha Madara is to weaken the strength of the ninja world, including the strength of the village of Kurigakure, so it doesn't matter whether it is the first to act. Other side, Sunagakure village, which had been at war with Konoha, also sent an alliance request to Iwagakure village. This time Onoki did not refuse, and he and Sunagakure village are also old allies, but at the end of the Second Ninja War, Sunagakure village was pitted by Onoki. But it wasn't Onoki's intention, it was all shameless guys from Kumogakure village. In this way, the villages of Kumogakure and Kurigakure formed an alliance, and the villages of Sunagakure and Iwagakure formed an alliance to fight against Konoha together. Konoha went 1 against 4. Sarutobi Hiruzen felt that the sky was about to fall when he learned that the 3 villages of Kurigakure, Iwagakure, and Kumogakure attacked them together. If it's a one-on-one match against any village, Konoha is sure to win. If it's a 1-to-2 match, Konoha will be a little tougher, but Sarutobi Hiruzen already believes they can win. But with 1 against 3, Konoha will be crushed and beaten, and with 1 against 4, this is the rhythm of ascending to the sky. Receiving the news overnight, Sarutobi Hiruzen's hair was more than half white. Summoning Danzo and the others to discuss, Sarutobi Hiruzen dispatched 2 families, Uchiha and Hyuga, to stop Kurigakure. Let Danzo and Namikaze Minato, who have already made some reputations, go to resist Kumogakure, and Sarutobi Hiruzen does not sit in Konoha and personally led people to the battlefield against Sunagakure and Iwagakure. Orochimaru and Jiraiya can't stop the union of the 2 villages at all, and he must go to the town. For a while, the whole Konoha came out, just about to send the newly graduated Genin to the battlefield. At this time, Konoha was several times more difficult than the Second Ninja World War. Tool store. Hyuga-chen watched the ninjas who were buying ninja gear wantonly, smiling from ear to ear. War is good. In a normal year, you can't sell so much money. Hyuga-chen looked at the room full of money with excitement. Kurenai Yuhi's 4 girls looked at Hyuga-chen with black lines all over their heads. They really didn't understand why Hyuga-chen liked money so much. Actually, it's not that I like money, it's that your wife is too prodigal. Hyuga-chen reached out and rubbed the hair of the 4 girls. The legendary Sanin, Tsunade-sama, Nohara Rin's eyes sparkled. Yes, you met when she came to Konoha a year ago. Hyuga-chen nodded. I want to become a powerful character like Tsunade-sama in the future. Tsunade-sama is the strongest female ninja. Kurenai Yuhi had a fighting spirit on his face. Hyuga-chen was slightly stunned. In fact, the strongest female ninja in the entire ninja world is really not Tsunade, not to mention the big boss Otsutsuki Kagaya, even Makoto is stronger than Tsunade. With the help of Hyuga-chen, Makoto's eternal Mangekyo evolved into Rinnegan, stronger than Tsunade who ate the quake fruit. Even Kushina is stronger than Tsunade, because Kushina learned Mokuden, wood style, which makes Tsunade very depressed. She has studied Mokuden, wood style, for a long time and has not learned Mokuden, wood style, but Kushina has successfully integrated Mokuden, wood style, with ease, which is simply unreasonable. Chapter 242 Black-Hearted Businessman, Hyuga-chen. After a busy afternoon at the ninja shop, Enko was quite depressed. She became a ninja not to sell things, but to be famous in the ninja world. Isn't it a waste of her strength to sell ninja gear here? Hyuga-chen glanced at Enko. The little girl had no scheming, and all her thoughts were written on her face. Hyuga-chen also understood Enko's character and of course knew what she wanted to do. Don't come here tomorrow, Hyuga-chen said softly. Why, could it be that we annoyed you, teacher? Azuki Yugao asked hastily. No, you can see your strength in the ninja world now. Go out and experience it. Hyuga-chen said with a smile. The 4 women's faces were startled, and then they showed excited smiles. It could be seen that they all wanted to leave Konoha to have a look. Teacher, are you with us? Nohara Rin asked. Hyuga-chen rubbed Nohara Rin's hair and said, this is your experience, what am I going to do? Oh, Nohara Rin showed a disappointed expression on her face. Then let's go, what do you do, teacher? Kurenai Yuhi asked. Do I still need you little girls to worry? If you don't want to go out, then accompany me to sell ninja tools here. Hyuga Chen reached out and squeezed Kurenai Yuhi's cheeks on both sides. Kurenai Yuhi made a Yuhi face, opened Hyuga Chen's hand angrily, puffed up his cheeks and said, Stinky teacher, you know how to bully me. You are my disciple, what's wrong with me bullying you? Hyuga Chen's expression was taken for granted. If accepting disciples is not for bullying, then what's the point? If Kurenai Yuhi and the others knew what Hyuga Chen was thinking, they would definitely cut him into pieces. You walk in the ninja world, don't lose my face. If you meet someone who can't be beaten, don't report my name. I can't afford to lose that person. If you can beat him, remember to humiliate him after defeating him, then report my name and tell him that you are my disciples taught by Hyuga-chen. Hyuga Chen told the 4 girls with a serious face. The 4 little girls turned to Yuhi by the words of Hyuga Chen, is this really their teacher? Why such a bastard? Let's go, ignore him. Kurenai Yuhi angrily pulled the little sister away. Looking at the 4 little girls who left, Hyuga Chen chuckled lightly. It is estimated that I won't see them for a long time in the future, and I'm still a little reluctant to give up. Hyuga Chen sighed inexplicably. If I really miss them, I can totally go and see them. Hyuga Chen shook his head, feeling that his inexplicable emotion just now was funny. Just as Hyuga Chen was about to close the door, a gloomy kid walked in. Eunuch Asuma. Ah, no, it's Sarutobi Asuma. What do you want? Hyuga Chen greeted warmly. Asuma, who was originally gloomy, became even gloomier when he heard Hyuga Chen's words about the eunuch Asuma. There are no eunuchs in the Japanese country, but this does not mean that there is no such thing as eunuchs in the Hokage world, so Asuma certainly understands the meaning of eunuchs. If it wasn't for his father Sarutobi Hiruzen, who told Wanwan to tell him not to provoke Hyuga Chen, he would definitely fight with Hyuga Chen. To be honest, Hyuga Chen is one of the most hated people in Sarutobi Asuma's life, and the number one is Uchiha Obito, who turned him into a eunuch. Next is Hyuga Chen's little apprentices, and then Hyuga Chen. As for why Sarutobi Asuma hated Hyuga Chen's apprentices, it was entirely because Kurenai Yuhi, Enko and the others were quick to talk and spread the news that Sarutobi Asuma was beaten by Uchiha Obito as an eunuch. This makes Sarutobi Asuma despised all these years, and naturally hates them, especially Kurenai Yuhi, who he once liked. If Asuma hates Obito the most, then Kurenai Yuhi is the second. As the teacher of Kurenai Yuhi and the others, he was also hated by Sarutobi Asuma, not to mention that he didn't have a good impression of Hyuga Chen. Sarutobi Asuma said nothing, took what he needed on the shelf, and paid to leave. If it weren't for the war, the major ninja stores were swept away, and the entire Konoha only had goods from Hyuga Chen, and he would not come to Hyuga Chen to buy ninja tools. After Sarutobi Asuma left, Hyuga Chen touched his chin and thought about it, then raised the price of the ninja tool 10 times. Even people who hate him go to him to buy ninja tools, it must be sold out elsewhere. If he doesn't take the opportunity to raise the price at such a time, then he is not Hyuga Chen, a black-hearted businessman. Am I making a fortune from war? Hyuga Chen asked himself. Hyuga Chen, who originally wanted to close the door, also came with mental power. Now what is the door closed, take the opportunity to make a lot of money and talk about it. Boss, you kunai 10,000 too, are you robbing money? A chunin who came to buy kunai roared angrily. What a roar, if you want to buy it, if you don't buy it, get out. You, chunin was so angry that he was about to vomit blood, he was about to go to the battlefield, could he not buy it? If he doesn't buy ninja gear, will he fight with his fists? So this chunin took a few kunai with a dark face and left angrily. Originally, he wanted to buy some detonating charms. Looking at the prices of these kunai and shuriken now, he knew that the detonating talisman was not something he could afford. This guy is a little poor. Hyuga-chan looked at Chunin, who was leaving with 3 kunai, with contempt in his eyes. Afterwards, many more people came to buy ninja tools, but all of them were frightened by the price, and the price suddenly increased tenfold, which was to treat them as pigs. But there is no way, other ninja shops are out of stock, so I can only recognize it with my nose. However, the name of Hyuga-chan, a black-hearted businessman, spread all over Konoha in just a few hours. Kakashi, you get what you get for every penny. There is a reason why my ninja tools are expensive here. Hyuga-chan was entertaining Kakashi, an acquaintance at this time. Give me 10 kunai, and then 3 more detonating charms. Kakashi's cold face showed a hint of distress. Originally there were 3,000 detonating talismans, but now it has been doubled, and 3 detonating 1.6 talismans are 90,000 taels. Knew that Hyuga-chan was killing people, but Hatake Kakashi couldn't do anything about it. After taking the detonating charm, Kakashi went out with a blank face. He swore that he would never come to this store again. After going out, Kakashi threw the 3 kunai to Obito. This is the kunai you want. Each kunai is 10,000 taels, and 3 kunai is 30,000 taels. Hurry up and give the money. Hatake Kakashi said coldly. What? Hatake Kakashi, you are killing me like a pig. Uchiha Obito was so angry that he could buy 30 kunai with all the money. It was the same price when I bought it. If you don't believe me, go to the ninja shop. Kakashi said with a frown. Forget it, 30,000 is 30,000. Uchiha Obito said, he didn't want to see the hateful guy Hyuga-chan, or he wouldn't let Kakashi buy it for him. Chapter 243 Obito becomes gay. The next morning, Kurenai Yuhi, Mitarashi Anko, Nohara Rin, and Azuki Yugao came to look for Hyuga-chan. Didn't I tell you not to use it? Do you want to accompany me to sell ninja tools here? Hyuga-chan looked at the 4th daughter and said. We are here to say goodbye to you. Who likes to accompany you to sell ninja tools here? I heard that you have increased the price of ninja tools tenfold, and many people jointly reported that you illegally raised the price. Kurenai Yuhi vomited tongue out. Report. Then let them report it. I don't care anyway, Hyuga-chan said lightly. Hyuga-chan decided that based on their reports, the price will be doubled in a while, and if you have the ability, don't buy it. If you have nothing else to do, just go. Hyuga-chan waved to the 4 girls. Why do you feel like you're driving us away? Kurenai Yuhi looked depressed. Then we'll leave, teacher, you have to take care. Nohara Rin smiled sweetly, with a little reluctance in his eyes. Aren't you going to show us off as a teacher? Anko asked. It's just you. Hyuga-chan glared at Anko, but didn't refuse, and sent them to the outside of Konoha village. Looking at the backs of the 4 girls leaving, Hyuga-chan did not worry about their safety. As early as before, Hyuga-chan had left a transcription seal on them, Gao Tianyuan, so their lives would not be in danger. When he turned to go back, Hyuga-chan happened to see Kakashi and Obito, and there was an unknown person beside them, who should be a member of their team. Without Nohara Rin, they were also assigned to Namikaze Minato to guide Jonin, but now Namikaze Minato has gone to the battlefield, so now the Captain Kakashi leads the class. Just don't understand why Sarutobi Hiruzen assigned Obito to the Minato class. Is it because Namikaze Minato's mission is dangerous and wants Obito to die in the mission? This is to avenge Asuma's revenge for cutting off his sons and grandsons. Yo, what a coincidence. I didn't expect us to meet again. Hyuga-chen greeted Kakashi. Kakashi glanced at Hyuga-chen, then walked away without saying a word. It's really embarrassing for me. Hyuga-chen took back his greeting hand and said lightly. Obito glared at Hyuga-chen with hatred in his eyes. If it wasn't for him, he wouldn't be able to get close to Rin. 1 or 2, it's really a face for you. Hyuga-chen's eyes wavered. Hatake Kakashi and Uchiha Obito suddenly stopped and fell into a sluggishness. Humph. Hyuga-chan snorted coldly. You made me feel bad, and I won't make you feel better. She glanced at them lightly, and then Hyuga-chan returned to the ninja shop. Kakashi and Obito's teammates looked at Hyuga Tatsu shiveringly, and he breathed a sigh of relief when Hyuga Tatsu walked away. Hyuga-chan just now made him breathless and felt like he was about to die. At this time, he looked at Kakashi and Obito, saw their dull eyes, and hurried over. "Obito, Captain Kakashi, what's the matter with you?" Panasonic hurriedly shouted. No matter how he shouted, he didn't see any movement from the two of them, and he still looked sluggish. At this time, Panasonic didn't understand how they got into the demonic illusion. Panasonic quickly used the method of disarming the demonic illusion learned at the ninja school, and wanted to help them disarm the demonic illusion. However, there was no effect at all. In the end, Matsushita was ruthless and took out Kunwu and stabbed them twice on their arms. The intense pain awakened the two of them, and Kakashi turned pale and sat on the ground all of a sudden. Obito's eyes turned bloody, and a black tadpole-like Tomo slowly turned. Uchiha Obito opened Sharingan because of Hyuga-chan's demonic illusion, but it's just a Tomo Sharingan. Kakashi was lying on the cold ground with his eyes closed, and his heart was very restless at this time. He didn't expect to be hit by demonic illusion in silence, and if the other party wanted to kill him, he'd already be dead. Just thinking about it, Kakashi's back was soaked with cold sweat. "Captain Kakashi, Obito, hurry up and bandage your wounds. I'm sorry, I stabbed you as a last resort." Panasonic apologized to the two of them. "I don't blame you, but thank you for helping me get rid of demonic illusion." Kakashi's icy tone was restrained. After all, Panasonic had just helped him, and Kakashi was not someone who didn't know what to do. "Thank you, Panasonic." Obito closed the Sharingan and thanked Panasonic. At the same time, a strange light flashed in Obito's eyes, and when Panasonic came into contact with the strange light in Obito's eyes, his whole body shuddered. "Obito, why are you staring at me all the time?" Panasonic said awkwardly. He felt Obito's fiery gaze as if it was going to swallow him. "He's a man, not a woman. Obito looks at him like this, shouldn't he be eccentric?" Panasonic decided to stay away from Obito in the future. This guy probably likes men. In fact, Panasonic really didn't think it was wrong. Now Uchiha Obito looks at Panasonic, and the more he looks, the more he feels. He felt as if he had gone astray before. The same sex is true love, and all the opposite sex should go to hell. Then Obito looked at Kakashi. His eyes became even hotter, as if he was looking at a big beauty. This gaze was so lethal that even Kakashi couldn't bear it. "Uchiha Obito, put away your dirty eyes," Hatake Kakashi said angrily. Seeing Kakashi annoyed, Uchiha Obito quickly withdrew his fiery gaze, but still looked at Kakashi secretly, wanting to take off Kakashi's mask and see Kakashi's true face. With Kakashi's sharpness, how could he not see that Uchiha Obito was secretly looking at him? His fists clenched tightly, and he really wanted to punch Obito in the face 100. ... With a faint smile on Hyuga-chan's face, Uchiha Obito will change his sexual orientation. Naturally it is related to him. Because of Uchiha Obito's resentful eyes, Hyuga-chan was very upset, so Hyuga-chan used Koto Amatsukami on him to permanently change his mind and will, making him a great gay man. It has to be said that the demonic illusion of Koto Amatsukami is indeed very powerful, and there are not many people in the entire ninja world who can resist Koto Amatsukami. Changing Uchiha Obito's sexual orientation is just a whim of Hyuga-chan's bad taste. Back at the ninja tool store, Hyuga-chan doubled the price of the ninja tools again. The current price of ninja tools is 20 times what it was before the price increase. Those ninjas who came to buy ninja gear wanted to vomit 3 liters of blood when they saw the price. Is this kunai made of special materials? The price is so expensive. To protest to Homura Mitokado and Kaharu Udatane, who are temporarily in charge of the village, and demand that Hyuga-chan's black shop be closed. However, as Homura Mitokado and Kaharu Udatane who know Hyuga-chan's strength, they dare not close Hyuga-chan's ninja shop. Open one eye, close one eye, and pretend that you don't see the protests of those ninjas, and they can't control other people's stores, and they can sell as much as they want. During the Ninja World War, it was normal for consumables such as ninja tools to increase in price, but the price increase of Hyuga-chen was too exaggerated, so it attracted the dissatisfaction of many ninjas. Chapter 244 Muramameru. Where are we going? Walking out of Konoha, Nohara Rin asked at a loss. The first time they left Konoha, they didn't have any goals, just headless flies that didn't know where to fly. I don't know about this either. It's my first time leaving Konoha. By the way, did you bring a map? Kurenai Yuhi asked hurriedly. Quote. Silence, no one spoke. This is embarrassing. For those who have never left Konoha, not having a map is the most deadly. For those who have never been out of Konoha, they almost rely on a map to get out, or they may go to the remote mountains and old forests. Why don't we go back? We didn't leave Konoha very far anyway. We can go back in half an hour, Azuki Yugao suggested. No, Enko directly rejected it, and went back not long after coming out. If their unscrupulous teacher knew about it, how would they laugh at them? Let's go ask someone, and when we get to a town, buy a map. Okay, just do as Yuhi said, otherwise we'll go back now, it's a shame. Enko grabbed Kurenai Yuhi's arm and said quickly. Then where do we go to ask someone for directions? It's deserted here. Go forward first, as long as you go down, you will always meet people. Kurenai Yuhi said. So a group of little confused people embarked on a journey to find someone to ask for directions. Fortunately, they were lucky, and there was a small village not far ahead. Buy a map in a small village. Although this map is very simple, they can also get a general understanding of some places. The teacher said, let's kill some bandits first to exercise our mood, or let's kill bandits and punish evil and promote good. Enko said excitedly holding the map. Although teachers are sometimes unreliable, they can never make mistakes in teaching us, how about that? I think it's true that you want to be famous. Kurenai Yuhi saw Enko's careful thinking at a glance, punishing evil and promoting good. Let alone Enko. It's okay to kill bandits, the question is, do you really have bandits? Azuki Yugao wiped the treasured sword in his hand. This sword has a resounding name, that is Murasama. That's right, this sword is Murasama Maru, which Hyuga Tatsu found when he asked White Zetsu to look for a famous sword. Muramameru. When this sword is drawn out to kill, water will flow out from the blade with murderous intent to wash away the blood. This situation is like Murasama cleaning leaves, so it is called Murasama Maru. After Hyuga-chan got it, he gave it to Azuki Yugao as a gift to Azuki Yugao. Maru has never seen blood in Azuki Yugao's hands, and Azuki Yugao can't wait to let Muramame Maru see blood. A swordsman who has never seen blood is not a real swordsman at all. I've already inquired about this. More than 50 miles to the west, there is a group of bandits. They seem to be very powerful. Enko looked at the three girls proudly, his eyes seemed to say, come and praise me. Is what you've heard true? Kurenai Yuhi asked suspiciously instead of praising Enko. After all, in their eyes, Enko is just as unreliable as their unscrupulous teacher, and they don't trust Enko's ability very much. Humph! Enko turned his head angrily, which was really shocking. Enko, we're just asking for clarity. What if you're deceived and it's fake news? Nohara Rin patted Enko's shoulder and said softly. I've asked several people, how could it be wrong? Enko's tone was still dissatisfied, and he didn't believe her, which was really annoying. Then listen to Enko. We don't have a destination anyway. It doesn't matter if there are no bandits, Kurenai Yuhi said. Enko is very dissatisfied with Kurenai Yuhi's words, and he still doesn't believe her. Don't believe me, wait until later to see how I slap you in the face. Enko whispered, because the voice was too low, so Kurenai Yuhi and the others did not hear. 50 miles to the west, there is indeed a big mountain. This big mountain is called Evil Wolf Peak. It is very tall and steep, making it easy to defend and difficult to attack. Although it's useless for powerful ninjas, it's really good at defending against ordinary people. Although in the world of ninjas, ninjas are the mainstream, but this does not mean that there is no ordinary army. The main goal of the army of the Country of Fire is to eliminate these bandits and ensure the peace of the Country of Fire. There is indeed a group of bandits on this mountain, and the leader is an elite chunin, a missing nin from Konoha. This guy is called Yanmu. After he betrayed the village, he gathered a group of gangsters who had nothing to do and became a bandit. And this guy still has a brain. Facing the army of the Country of Fire, he has never personally shot, nor has he done too much. Therefore, it did not attract the attention of Konoha, and the development was okay. But this time his good days have come to an end, and Anko, who wants to be famous in the ninja world, is now thinking about how to kill them and let his reputation spread. See, that's the bandit's lair. Anko pinched his waist with a tsundere look on his face. From below, for those with strong eyesight, they could still clearly see the bandit lair built halfway up the mountain. How do we deal with them? Kill them directly, or wait for a sneak attack at night? Azuki Yugao didn't care about Anko, but asked Kurenai Yuhi. Anko was annoyed and didn't speak. Most of the bandits are ordinary people, and their strength is not too strong. Let's kill them directly. At this time, Kurenai Yuhi had changed into a battle suit. For the first time facing the enemy, they were actually very nervous, especially since they were all girls. Then go straight up. Azuki Yugao clenched Muramameru tightly, jumped up, and rushed towards the top of the mountain. The steep mountain was as flat as walking on the ground. It's too impatient. Kurenai Yuhi hurriedly followed, afraid that Azuki Yugao would make a mistake by himself. Anko and Nohara Rin also followed, fast, without making a sound like a ghost. Soon they came to the middle of the mountain. This is the cottage built by the bandits, and it is the only place in this mountain where a cottage can be built. Kill! Azuki Yugao shouted, giving himself courage, and then Muramameru unsheathed instantly. A silver light flashed, and the guarding bandit fell. The blade magically appeared clear water, washing away all the blood stains. Azuki Yugao's face turned pale. It was the first time to kill someone. If she didn't have any fear in her heart, it would be impossible. Kurenai Yuhi, Anko, and Nohara Rin, who rushed up together, were stunned when they saw several bodies lying on the ground, covering their mouths and retching. The enemy has been alerted. Solve the enemy first. Suppressing the discomfort in his heart, Azuki Yugao shouted loudly. In terms of psychological quality, Azuki Yugao is better. The first thing to learn swordsmanship is to have a firm will. Azuki Yugao's voice also made Nohara Rin and the others sober up from their discomfort, then took out kunai and looked at the bandits surrounding him. Chapter 245 Kill the Bandit. You actually dare to kill our brothers. A bandit who looked like a small leader was instantly furious and was about to rush up immediately. However, compared to this brainless little leader, there are still people with some brains among the bandits. A thin bandit quickly grabbed the leader. Boss, they are ninjas, we can't beat them. The thin bandit pointed at the forehead guards on Azuki Yugao's heads. The little leader's forehead instantly left a cold sweat. Although he is good among ordinary people, he is simply a food delivery in the face of ninjas. Boss, you are overthinking it. Although they are ninjas, you can see how powerful they are when you look at their age. They are all little girls. That's right, how strong these 4 little girls can be. Seeing how good they are, if you arrest them and present them to the boss, you might get the boss's reward. The instigation of the bandit behind made the little leader's reason occupied by greed. The thin bandit opened his mouth and said nothing in the end. I'm so pissed off, it's just a bunch of bandits. Anko's body trembled with anger. Cadent Fire Style, Dragon Flame Jutsu. With a group of bandits who are ordinary people, it is natural that they cannot escape Anko's ninjutsu. The ninjutsu powerful enough to break the tree hit people, and those bandits died on the spot. I must kill these bandits. Anko, with 247 anger flashing in his eyes, killed the bandit's cottage. Everywhere it went, it was on fire. I didn't expect Anko to have such a fierce side. Nohara-rin embarrassedly wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. She was like this, like a tomboy, and we followed. Anko was inexperienced, and I was afraid she would be tricked by bandits. Kurenai Yuhi hurriedly followed. However, Kurenai Yuhi thought too much, and directly swept these ordinary bandits with Anko's strength. Kurenai Yuhi follows behind, and uses demonic illusion to deal with missing fish. The whole cottage was screaming, which naturally alarmed the leader of the bandit, Yanmu. Looking at the firelight outside, Yanmu looked gloomy. Could it be that the people from Konoha found me and came to get rid of me? Whether you want to get rid of me or not, I, Yanmu, are not easy to bully. Picking up the ninja knife on the side, Yanmu rushed out. Looking at the 4 little girls outside, Yanmu was stunned, and then he was furious, and boundless anger welled up in his heart. Konoha sent you all to deal with me, are you looking down on me? Yanmu asked gloomily. What? Kurenai Yuhi and the others all had question marks on their faces, not understanding what this guy was talking about. Death to me. Yanmu, angry at being looked down upon, pulled out his ninja sword and slashed towards Kurenai Yuhi. Just when Kurenai Yuhi was about to shoot, Azuki Yugao pulled out Murakami Maru and blocked Yanmu's knife. What? Actually blocked it? Yanmu couldn't believe it. This group of genin who just graduated, could actually block his full blow. At this time, Azuki Yugao kicked the stunned Yanmu violently, and the unprepared Yanmu was kicked and flew out, breaking several rooms. Should be dead. Azuki Yugao put away Muramameru. She didn't keep her hand, and a big stone could be broken. No, I can sense that he is still alive. Nohara-rin said. I didn't expect that you guys really have 2 strokes. No wonder you dare to come to trouble me, but today you are all sure to die, and no one can save you. Yanmu roared angrily. If it wasn't for the special armor he wore, even if he didn't get kicked to death, he would have lost all combat effectiveness. This made Yanmu angry at the same time, but he was also very afraid, and almost went to see the 6 Paths Immortal. He's a ninja, and Konoha's missing nin. Kurenai Yuhi looked at the ninja forehead with a scratched ninja strapped to his arm. Good ninja. I haven't fought a real ninja yet. Leave this guy to me. Anko's eyes flashed eagerly. No, leave it to me. Azuki Yugao didn't give Anko a chance to refute, and used the blinking technique to come to Yanmu. Thunderbolt slash. Thunder flashed on Azuki Yugao, and Muramameru was completely wrapped in thunder, like a fleeting flash of lightning, slashing towards Yanmu. Yanmu was in a cold sweat, unable to escape, absolutely unable to escape. Under Yanmu's dull and desperate gaze, Muramameru split his body in half, and the blazing thunder turned his body into coke. This, so, weak. Azuki Yugao, who still maintained his sword-wielding posture, had a slightly dull expression. "NT the teacher say that missing nin is strong. How could this guy be hacked to death with one knife?" Azuki Yugao thought he would go through a big battle. "Didn't the liar teacher say that missing nin is strong? That's also called strong." While Enko despised Yanmu who was hacked to death, he also didn't forget to take Hyuga-chen with him. If Hyuga-chen is here, Enko will definitely know what it means to respect teachers and respect Taoism. And Hyuga-chen is right, can there be no 2 brushes that can be missing nin? Although this Yanmu is an elite chunin, but in general, Jonin in particular, may not be able to kill him. But Azuki Yugao's strength is Jonin, plus the swordsmanship taught by Hyuga-chen, even if the elite Jonin doesn't pay attention, he will be killed with a single knife. Although she lacks combat experience, but the strength is so different, do you still need combat experience? Seeing that the boss was killed by a knife, the bandits hurriedly fled, wishing they could grow a few more legs. Seeing these bandits escape, of course Azuki Yugao and the others will not let them go, including Nohara-rin, a gentle and kind girl, who also ruthlessly kills them. On the first day as Hyuga Tatsu's students, Hyuga Tatsu taught them not to be soft on the enemy. What kind of teacher will teach what kind of apprentice? a few little lowly or ruthless. Soon, after all the bandits were eliminated, a group of old and weak women and children remained on the entire mountain. What did they do? Kill them all. Kurenai Yuhi sat on the ground, his face slightly pale. There were more than 100 bandits in the whole mountain, and now they have all killed them, and the scene was like a river of blood. The teacher told us that if we want to kill all these people, let's kill them all. Anko's face slammed, looking at those old and young who looked at them with fear and hatred. No, we were taken up the mountain by those bandits, please let us go. One of the women knelt down and begged for mercy. Otherwise, let's let them go. Nohara Rin whispered, she looked a little pitiful for these people. The women looked at each other, and finally let these old and weak women and children go. After all, they are only 10-year-old girls, they can't be as indifferent as Hyuga-chen. Although they were spared, there were not many people who were grateful to them. Some even looked at them angrily with hatred in their eyes. Most of these people were the family members of the bandits. Their eyes are so hateful, I really want to kill them all. Anko frowned as he felt the malicious stare. Forget it, it's just a group of ordinary people. Kurenai Yuhi shook his head. 246 Namikaze Minatov's 3 Generations Raikage. If it wasn't for the teacher who often used demonic illusion to show me this scene, I'd probably faint now. Nohara Rin said with a wry smile. The corpses with their eyes wide open and they were dying, plus the smell of blood in the air, and the smell of burning corpses, made the 4 girls almost nauseous. Let's leave first. Kurenai Yuhi stood up with his body propped up, his pale complexion getting better, a lot. Yes, leave quickly, this smell is really unbearable. Anko made a retching expression, she felt that she might not be able to eat for a few days. Anko, take care of the body. Yeah, Anko nodded, using Doden, Earth-style, swamp of the underworld to sink all the corpses to the ground. After doing all this, the 4 girls went down the mountain together. The distant battlefield of Kumogakure village, 3 generations of Raikage stood in the center of the battlefield and shouted, Danzo, all of you Konoha are cowards, come out and fight against my Kumogakure village. Danzo's face was blue and purple, looking at the 3 generations of Raikage in the distance, he could not wait to bite him to death. Danzo-sama, if we don't fight, I'm afraid our Konoha's morale will be weakened, which is very bad for us. Namikaze Minato said with a worried look. Danzo glanced at him, and then said coldly, then go and fight that muscle-brained idiot of the 3rd generation Raikage. Namikaze Minato looked embarrassed. It's not that he didn't fight the 3rd Raikage, but his attack couldn't break the defense of the 3rd Raikage. If it wasn't for his space ninjutsu, he probably wouldn't be able to come back. 3rd generation of Raikage is a big mountain pressing on them, and this guy's combat power is definitely super Kage level. Fortunately, the 3rd generation of Raikage does not have any super wide range of ninjutsu, otherwise Konoha would really cry. Namikaze Minato, if you can break the defense of the 3rd generation Raikage, can you beat him? Danzo looked at Namikaze Minato and asked seriously. Namikaze Minato was stunned for a moment, then fell into deep thought. After a long time, Namikaze Minato said, I'm not sure either, it needs to be played to find out. That's good. Danzo took out a lightsaber from the sealed scroll. This lightsaber is the Tiankong Cloud Sword, the one that Hyuga-chen sold to Sarutobi Asuma, and Sarutobi Hiruzen gave it to Danzo to use before Danzo set off. Although the myth of the strongest spear and the strongest shield of the 3 generations of Raikage, this second ninja war has been broken by Hyuga-chen, but Sarutobi Hiruzen did not dare to underestimate the 3 generations of Raikage. He had also heard Hitaki Sakumo describe the strength of the 3rd generation Raikage, and even Hitaki Sakumo's swordsmanship could not break through the defense of the 3rd generation Raikage. So Sarutobi Hiruzen gave Danzo the sword of light that could cut through everything. This is... Namikaze Minato looked at Danzo suspiciously. This is the sword of Hyuga-chen's condensed light. It can easily cut through anything, and the 3 generations of Raikage can't stop it. Danzo said lightly. The sword condensed by Chen. Hope you take this sword and be able to defeat the 3 generations of Reikage. Danzo handed the Amika's cloud sword to Namikaze Minato. As for why Danzo didn't take the sword himself and go to fight the 3 generations of Reikage. Without him, I am afraid of death. 3rd generation of Reikage is too strong. Danzo dare not fight him, and even if Danzo is holding the Tiankong cloud sword, he is still delivering food, and the speed cannot keep up. Even the strongest weapon is useless, because he can't hit anyone. Namikaze Minato reached out and took the Tiankong cloud sword. The tip of the blade touched the ground lightly, and the ground split open with a long opening. Namikaze Minato's pupils shrank, and he secretly said, "It's really sharp. With this sword, even if I can't defeat the 3rd generation Reikage, I have the confidence to fight him." Namikaze Minato's expression was firm. Danzo glanced at Namikaze Minato and said, "This is the best." Dozens of ninjas are summoned, and Namikaze Minato gives them the specially made Hiraishin kunai. Throw these kunai without aiming at the 3rd Reikage. Namikaze Minato ordered. Only by relying on the space ninjutsu of Hiraishin, he can fight the 3rd generation Reikage, otherwise he can't fight at all. Looking at the projectile kunai, the 3rd generation Reikage frowned. In fact, he also had a headache for Hiraishin's ninjutsu. Namikaze Minato is like a slippery loach. No matter how fast his attack speed is, he will be avoided by Namikaze Minato in a close call. Destroy these kunai directly, I'll see what you do. The 3rd generation of Reikage was wrapped in thunder and wanted to destroy these kunai. Namikaze Minato watched the movements of the 3rd Reikage, and his heart became anxious. Although his kunai was specially made, it could not stop the destruction of the 3rd Reikage. He disappeared in an instant, and then appeared behind the 3rd generation Reikage. As early as in the previous battle, he had left the Hiraishin spell on the 3rd generation Reikage. The Amakusa cloud sword, which bloomed with golden brilliance, slashed towards the back of the 3rd Reikage. The 3rd generation of Reikage, who was going to destroy Hiraishin kunai, suddenly felt a life and death crisis. The battle-hardened 3 generation Reikage is very decisive, using Raiden Thunder style to stimulate the body's cells to move forward at an extraordinary speed. Although the 3rd generation Reikage was very decisive and fast, he still did not completely avoid it, and Tiankong Yunjian left a deep wound on his back. The fiery tingling came from behind, stimulating the spirit of the 3rd generation Reikage. Fortunately, the 3rd generation Reikage was firm and unaffected by the pain. Although the 3rd Reikage was not killed, Namikaze Minato was satisfied with the damage to him. Not staying put, Namikaze Minato immediately used Hiraishin to stay away from the 3rd generation Reikage, preventing him from suddenly attacking. Now Namikaze Minato is an assassin with extremely high speed and attack. Although it looks very powerful, if the 3rd generation Reikage seizes the opportunity, Namikaze Minato will definitely die. "Father, are you alright?" I immediately came to the 3rd generation of Reikage. "It's okay, be careful, that knife is very strong." 3 generations of Reikage exhaled sharply and said cautiously. "Father, don't you think that light knife is similar to the light bullet used by Hyuga-chen?" After Ai's reminder, the 3 generations of Reikage also reacted, and they are really very similar. "This knife is related to Hyuga-chen?" 3 generations of Reikage asked in a deep voice. Namikaze Minato didn't hide either, nodding silently. 3 generations of Reikage were Yuhi, and the hatred between them Kumogakure village and Hyuga-chen was inseparable. "Give me death, stab from hell." 4 copies of the hand. The 3rd generation Reikage turned into a lightning bolt, so fast that even Namikaze Minato almost didn't react. The strongest ninjutsu of the 3 generations of Reikage, and Namikaze Minato's forehead fell with cold sweat, and he was almost penetrated by the 3 generations of Reikage. At this time, Namikaze Minato's expression became solemn. After learning Hiraishin, Namikaze Minato was proud in his heart, and now the 3 generations of Reikage directly broke his pride. Generation Reikage is so fast that he hardly even has time to activate Hiraishin. Chapter 247 Konoha showing a disadvantage. Third generation of Reikage frowned. Space ninjutsu was really difficult to deal with. He was already at his fastest speed just now, but he was flashed by Namikaze Minato. Namikaze Minato, don't get entangled with the 3th-generation Reikage, go and attack the Kumogakur unit. Danzo's voice came. As an outsider, Danzo can see clearly that although Namikaze Minato is fast, it is basically impossible to kill 3 generations of Reikage. So instead of entanglement with the 3rd-generation Reikage, it is better to kill the Kumogakur troops as much as possible. Others are not as strong as the 3rd-generation Reikage. Namikaze Minato hesitated, although it seemed unkind, but now that Konoha's bad situation, there is no way to be kind or unkind. I think you dare. If you dare to kill my Kumogakur troops, I will wipe out all your Konoha people. 3 generations of Reikage threatened. Namikaze Minato, who is holding the artifact, kills them Kumogakur, it will not be a flock of sheep. Who can avoid Namikaze Minato's knife? Even his son can't dodge it. At this time, the 3 generations of Reikage cursed the despicable Danzo, Hyuga-chan, Namikaze Minato, and Senju Tobarama, who developed the Hiraishin technique and died. 3 generations of Reikage and Namikaze Minato restrained each other, and the next 4 generations of Shadow AI saw this scene and took the Kumogakur troops to kill Konoha. I went straight to Danzo. Old dog Danzo, see how I unscrew your dog's head. Eyes flickered with murderous aura. Humph. Junior, you are not qualified. Danzo snorted coldly. Futon, wind style, vacuum sphere. Before I approached him, Danzo immediately released ninjutsu to block I. Kumogakur village is best at ninjutsu and swordsmanship. Danzo didn't want to play close combat with him. I snorted disdainfully, then turned on the Raiden Thunder-style chakra mode, directly ignoring Danzo's ninjutsu attack, and quickly approached Danzo. While I's defenses are nowhere near his father's, Futon wind style against Danzo can still do it. Recurrent violence. Close to Danzo, I hit Danzo's head with an elbow, carrying a supremely explosive elbow. If he can hit it, he can definitely blow Danzo's head. Ninja, the art of mind and body. Just when I was about to hit Danzo's dog-legged son, Yamanaka Feng, used his spirit to disrupt I's movements, causing I to stagnate for a while. It was this brief stagnation that allowed Danzo to avoid the fatal blow, and I's elbow slammed into the air. Danzo's face was expressionless, and he seemed to be calm, but in fact he was panicking to death. Damn it! I angrily looked at the sluggish Yamanaka Wind, and slammed his fist towards Yamanaka Wind. It's all this guy who's bad for him. If he has to intervene, then kill him first. The grumpy I abandoned Danzo and vowed to kill Yamanaka K's. Just when I was about to punch Yamanaka to death, Aburame suddenly pushed Yamanaka away, and he was punched by I. Phosphorus bad bugs. Aburame took the roots and spread the nanoscale poisonous insects all over his body, and wanted to drag I to be buried with him, but unfortunately those poisonous insects were all destroyed by the thunder and lightning on I's body before they touched I. Aburame's corpse was also turned into coke. Looking at Aburame's death, Danzo had no expression. He didn't care about Aburame's death, even though Aburame had followed him for a long time. However, Aburame did not kill I by taking the root, which made Danzo slightly disappointed. A group of turkeys and dogs, give me death. Yilei Shen Furious Thunder Axe. Futon Wind Style Vacuum Datama. Seeing that Yamanaka was in danger, Danzo immediately shot. Aburame was already dead, and if Yamanaka was also dead, he would have nothing to use in his hands. Raiden Thunder Style Recurrent Storm. The originally raised right leg suddenly retracted, and then an elbow hit the air cannon fired by Danzo, directly dispersing the air cannon. Danzo's face was ugly. He didn't expect this son of the 3rd generation of Reikage to be so troublesome. At this time, I has reached the peak of his strength, and he is also an absolute leader in the cage level. It is normal that Danzo is not an opponent. The battle between Kumogakur and Konoha ninjas is even more one-sided. Because of the three-line battle, the number of Konoha ninjas is greatly insufficient, and it is strange that they can beat them. The restraint of many Konoha elite Jonin, Danzo blocked I. However, the Konoha ninja army couldn't defeat the Kumogakure army, and the Konoha ninjas who were beaten by the crazy Kumogakure were defeated. Seeing that Konoha is in critical condition, Namikaze Minato's face is ugly. He must do something at this time, otherwise Konoha's situation will only get worse. Unlike Namikaze Minato, the third generation of Reikage is not in a hurry. He believes that their Kumogakure can definitely defeat the Konoha ninja force. Namikaze Minato squinted his eyes slightly, and then suddenly swung out with a knife. A dazzling golden sword slashed the ground, killing hundreds of Kumogakure with one knife, and the power was terrifying. Damn, Namikaze Minato, you are courting death. The third generation Reikage was furious, appeared in front of Namikaze Minato like lightning, and punched him in the head. However, Namikaze Minato was well prepared. He knew that the third generation Reikage would be furious, and he had already reacted before the third generation Reikage attacked. Use Hiraishin to move to another location, then slash at the Kumogakure unit again. But this time the attack was not so strong, not even a third of the previous one, but only killed dozens of Kumogakure. At the same time, the light of Tiankong Yunjian also dimmed a lot, as if it would disappear at any time. The attack just now had almost consumed the light energy of Tiankong Yunjian. Third generation of Reikage also found this situation, and his heart was slightly overjoyed. He could feel that Namikaze Minato, who was a deadly threat to him, is now far worse than before. Namikaze Minato looked at the dim lightsaber in his hand, and didn't dare to use the blade just now without authorization. Namikaze Minato and the third generation Reikage fought again. Although the Amakusa Yunjian was not as strong as before, it was still okay to break through the third generation Reikage's defense. A few minutes of fighting, there were several knife marks left on the third generation Reikage, but the third generation Reikage did not decline at all, and it was still 4.4. Infernal thrusts. One shot. The third generation Reikage hit directly in the direction of one of the Hiraishin kunai. A prejudgmental attack under the anger of the third generation Reikage. In fact, the success rate is poor, almost no. But I don't know if Namikaze Minato didn't read the almanac when he went out. When the three generations of Reikage attacked, Namikaze Minato happened to appear there. Boom! After a loud bang, Namikaze Minato appeared in the distance, a blood hole appeared in his abdomen, and Tiankong Yunjian had completely disappeared. I don't know if Namikaze Minato was lucky, or he was unlucky. The attack of the third generation Reikage just hit the Tiankong Yunjian. It was precisely because of the blocking of Tiankong Yunjian that Namikaze Minato escaped, but he was still injured, and Tiankong Yunjian was also scattered. Chapter 248. How can you compare to Makoto? I'll see what else you can do now. Three generations of Reikage sneered, without the Tiankong Yunjian, and now he is standing and letting Namikaze Minato fight, but he can't do anything about it. Without continuing to entangle with Namikaze Minato, the third generation Reikage directly entered the Konoha ninja army, killing and injuring countless Konoha ninjas with one punch and one kick. Namikaze Minato's face was slightly ugly, and regardless of the wound on his body, he took out all the Hiraishin kunai and threw it into the Kumogakure unit. Transformed into a yellow flash, weaving through the enemy ninja army, where people were stabbed to death by kunai, or killed by Rasengan. The killing speed of Namikaze Minato is no slower than that of the third generation Reikage, and even faster than the third generation Reikage. Three generations of Reikage watched this scene. His eyes were as cold as ice, but he didn't stop Namikaze Minato because he couldn't stop it at all. Space ninjutsu is a bug. His speed is indeed very fast, but he can only eat ashes behind Namikaze Minato. In fact, he was very fortunate that Namikaze Minato didn't directly enter the Kumogakure unit just now, and he didn't sweep a large area with his lightsaber. Few minutes later, Namikaze Minato stopped, gasping for breath. In just a few minutes, nearly 200 Kumogakure died in his hands, but he couldn't hold it any longer. Among all S-rank ninjutsu, the technique of Hiraishin should be the S-rank ninjutsu that consumes the least chakra, but it cannot withstand such high-intensity use. At this point Namikaze Minato's chakra has bottomed out. The third generation of Reikage, who has been observing Namikaze Minato, is delighted. At this time, he finally found a weakness of Namikaze Minato that is not a weakness, that is, not enough chakra. In fact, if Namikaze Minato is a human Jinchuriki column force at this time, or has a sage body, then relying on the technique of Hiraishin, one person can beat Kumogakure to the ground. Namikaze Minato is not a Jinchuriki column force, nor a sage body. Retreat. Danzo, who was knocked out, stood up, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and shouted. Danzo also felt very ashamed when he was beaten by a junior with several elite jonin. Of course, Danzo also has trump cards, such as Mokuden wood style, which can barely be used by transplanting primary cells, and Izanagi of Sharingan's forbidden technique. However, these should not be used blatantly, otherwise even if he is a good friend of Sarutobi Hiruzen, Konoha has no place for him. After Danzo shouted to retreat, he ran faster than a rabbit. The top commander, Danzo, ran away, and Konoha's low morale disappeared in an instant. Because there was no one to command, they began to retreat like headless flies. Namikaze Minato glanced helplessly. He was also unable to revolving heaven now, so he could only retreat. Follow me. The third generation of Reikage rushed to the front, and the anger that had been suppressed in his heart all disappeared. You must know that during the Second Ninja World War, their Kumogakure village was suffocated, and now they can finally vent. Drive straight in all the way, chasing the Konoha ninja army, and have penetrated deep into the country of fire. Not that Danzo doesn't want to resist, but that he can't stop it at all. The third generation Reikage guy is too violent, and there is no one who can restrain him. ... Short Book Street. I said Tsunade, don't you get tired of losing money every day? Hyuga-chan asked. If it were him losing money like this all day long, he would have been hit and killed in a place long ago, which would be a shame. This also shows how strong Tsunade's heart is. He loses so much money every day, and his mentality has not collapsed. Are you despising me? Tsunade looked at Hyuga-chan while pinching his waist. No, how could I despise you? Hyuga-chan reached out to hug Tsunade and whispered, you are my favorite good wife, how could I despise you? Then you said me and Makoto, who do you love the most? Tsunade stared at Hyuga-chan tightly. Is that even a question? Let yourself say, apart from Hungarian, how can you compare to Makoto? Hyuga-chan said contemptuously. Oh, ha 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 tilde. Tsunade was shrouded by the darkness, the fist was tight, the white air pressure shrouded in the fist, the air was shocked. Shizune Kato, who was holding the little suckling pig, quickly hid away, his body trembling slightly, and he was very scared. As this blackening, Hyuga-chan reached out and wiped a trace of cold sweat from his forehead. Tsunade, calm down, there is also a casino here. If you punch down, the entire street will be destroyed. Do you still want to gamble? Hyuga-chan said quickly. Ha ha tilde tilde. Tsunade sneered twice, and then shouted, you bastard, confess to me. The air shattered, the earthquake shattered, and the entire short book street was gone in the blink of an eye. Hyuga-chan hurriedly hugged Shizune's little loli, who was shivering beside her. If she was affected by Tsunade, she would probably be gone too. A punch hit Hyuga-chan, and Hyuga-chan blinked, as if he hadn't been hit at all. Humph. It's amazing to be able to ignore attacks. Tsunade turned his head and hummed. I didn't use Gao Tianyuan. Hyuga-chan put down Shizune in his arms and spread his hands. To be honest, Tsunade's attack looks powerful, but hitting him is almost like scratching a tick. Not that Tsunade's attack is not strong, but that Hyuga-chan's strength is too pervert. Since I met you, I seem to have gradually become a big bad guy. Tsunade glanced at the dilapidated street, but there was no mood swing in his heart. If it was before, she would never have done such a thing of destroying the whole street because of 230 feet's anger. Now that she has destroyed the bustling street, she has no guilt at all, as if she was not the one who destroyed the short book street. Hyuga-chen smiled and didn't speak. His character would also affect the girls. There is a saying that goes, those who are close to Zu are red, those who are close to ink are black. Shizune Kato shivered while holding the piglet. The legendary Sanin Tsunade Haim was terrible. Did she follow Tsunade on a pirate ship? I saw Tsunade-sama destroy the short book street. Will he be killed and silenced? Kato Shizune thought wildly in his heart. Impulse, this is the place with the most casinos. Tsunade patted his head angrily. 4/5 of the entire short book street are casinos, which can be said to be the largest casino in the entire ninja world. That's right, I'm just telling the truth, am I being so impulsive? Hyuga-chan continued to say deathly. You bastard. Tsunade squeezed his fist and wanted to punch Hyuga-chen again, but thinking that her fist could not help Hyuga-chen at all, Tsunade became discouraged. Let's go. The whole street is gone. What are you still doing here? You have also contributed to the ninja world by closing down more than a dozen casinos. Hyuga-chan stretched out his hand and pulled Tsunade away. Shizune Kato followed silently with the piggy pig in his arms. Following two big devils, life is really hard. Shizune Kato sighed silently in his heart. Chapter 249 Kushina's Wrath. This little pig looks quite cute. Hyuga-chen reached out and hugged the pink Yuhi piglet that Shizune was holding. Dolphin tilde. Dudu narrowed his eyes, as if very happy. Suddenly, a malicious smile appeared on Hyuga-chen's face. If this little pig is made into a roast suckling pig, it should taste great, aha tilde. No, it definitely can't be made into a roast suckling pig. Shizune didn't know where the strength came from, and snatched the piglet from Hyuga-chan's hand, looking at Hyuga-chan angrily. With humanized fear on Piggy's face, he looked at Hyuga-chan in fear. Dudu has been with us for a long time, you mustn't try to hit him, otherwise. Tsunade was dumbfounded for a while, and he couldn't find any way to threaten him, so he could only stare at Hyuga-chan with big eyes. She was really afraid that Hyuga-chan would roast the pork while they weren't paying attention. Am I that kind of person? This little pig is so cute, how could I bake it? Hyuga-chan smirked, he was just joking. Where are Kushina and the others now? Tsunade asked. Why do you ask this? Hyuga-chan looked at Tsunade suspiciously. HMPH tilde. The short album street is gone now, so of course I'm going to find them. Tsunade snorted and gave Hyuga-chan an angry look. Hyuga-chan is very innocent. You destroyed the short book street yourself, what is my business? I also reminded you to come. However, Hyuga-chan didn't reason with Tsunade, because he knew that the greatest advantage of a woman was being unreasonable. It's all his fault in the end anyway, so do you need to waste the process? Now Makoto, Kushina, and Sarah should be in this place. It seems that it is not very far from the Kumogakure battlefield. Hyuga-chan took out a map and pointed. Not far from the Kumogakure battlefield. You said they wouldn't have trouble with Kumogakure. Tsunade said. She also has a reason for saying this. First of all, Kushina likes to be in the limelight, and she definitely wants to take a step in such a big event as the Ninja World War. And Kumogakure also kidnapped Uzumaki Tomoko. Although he was rescued by Namikaze Minato, kidnapping is kidnapping. As a local, there are only a few members of the Uzumaki clan left, and even though there is not much contact now, they still have feelings. So Kushina will probably go and avenge Uzumaki Tomoko. Don't say it, maybe it's possible. Hyuga-chan nodded, agreeing with Tsunade's words. According to Hyuga-chan's understanding of Kushina, Hyuga-chan is 100% sure that Kushina will definitely go to Kumogakure for trouble. This is indeed the case. Ah, Makoto, let's kill these arrogant Kumogakure. Kushina grabbed her hair and said angrily. It's really too arrogant to jump around on our roof. Sarah also puffed out her mouth and looked unhappy. Makoto's expression wasn't too good either. Just when Makoto was about to speak, there was a bump, the door was kicked open, and several Kumogakure entered the courtyard. Kushina's face turned black. It was a shame for them, and she dared to kick the grandma's door. Kushina stood up with a swipe, then pushed open the door and walked out, her expression gloomy and terrifying, and Yuhi's hair fluttered in anger. Yo, drink. I didn't expect that there is a beauty in this yard in the wild. One of the Kumogakure's expressions was a little wretched. Make me fertilizer. An angry Kushina wouldn't talk nonsense with them, and the tree broke out and tied all the 7 Kumogakure. The chakras in their bodies were madly absorbed by the trees. Finally, after the chakras were completely absorbed, several sturdy branches pierced them and hung on the tall trees, with a tragic death. Humph. Do your own thing, don't live. Kushina snorted coldly. Makoto, Sarah, pack up and let's go. You must also teach Kumogakure a lesson. You dare to mess with me. I'm tired of living. These Kumogakure, Kushina is not relieved at all, she has not had time to trouble Kumogakure. Now Kumogakure is going to trouble her first. Tolerable or unbearable? Makoto shook his head and packed his things. Actually, there was nothing to pack. This small courtyard was made by Kushina using Mokuden wood style. A brief tidy up, Kushina pulled Makoto and Sarah and chased in the direction of Kumogakure. Kushina's speed was much faster than those of Kumogakure, and soon Kushina caught up with a team of ninjas, led by an elite jonin. But elite jonin won't work here in Kushina, use Mokuden wood style vines to instantly tie them into dumplings. Say, where's the old guy from Reikage, the 3rd generation? Kushina asked aggressively, with the attitude of killing you if he didn't answer. Humph, you don't want to know the whereabouts of the 3rd generation Reikage. Jonin, the leading elite, snorted coldly and pouted in disdain. Stubborn, right? Makoto handed it over to you. Kushina sneered, stubborn in front of her, is it useful? Makoto nodded, then stepped forward, his eyes instantly transformed into 3 Tomo Sharingan, the 3 Tomo slowly turned, and the bound elite jonin was controlled by Sharingan demonic illusion. Then this elite jonin tells all he knows. Captain, is this demonic illusion? The other Kumogakure who were bound together by Mokuden wood style were very anxious. So it turns out, you guys want to sneak attack on the rear of Konoha and cut off Konoha's supplies. Kushina only looked at the team's 15 ninjas at this time, and each of them had the strength of jonin. The captured jonin of Kumogakure village were so desperate that this witch rushed over without saying a word and tied them into zongzi using the legendary Mokuden wood style. It's because they didn't read the yellow calendar when they went out. Not so unlucky. What's up with those Kumogakure messing up? Makoto asked. At this time, she also knew that those who broke into their small courtyard before were not acting together with this group of elite ninjas. They were sent by 3 generations of Reikage to divert Konoha's attention and allow us to successfully complete the mission. The leading elite jonin replied dully. So that's the case, but you were unlucky when you meet us. Now that Kushina knew what she wanted, Kushina didn't ask any more. The soft vines that bound them suddenly became extremely hard, and instantly pierced their hearts. This Kumogakure elite team was directly reduced to the nourishment for the growth of trees. Let's go to the trouble of the 3 generations of Reikage. Kushina pulled Makoto and Sarah towards the Kumogakure village large force. At this time, what Kushina thought in his mind was to defeat the 3 generations of Reikage, and then become famous in the ninja world. Makoto looked at Kushina who was in a hurry, smiled slightly, and followed Kushina with Sarah in his arms. Sarah was hugged by Makoto and felt embarrassed, but her strength was too low to keep up with Kushina's speed. It seems that I have to work hard too. The depressed Sarah rekindled her cultivation heart again. Chapter 250 Meteor Volcano. Wow, Konoha was beaten so badly. Standing in the distance, Kushina's eyes were clearly watching the battle between Kumogakure and Konoha villages in the distance. No, it shouldn't be said to be a big battle. This is a completely one-sided battle. Konoha was beaten and retreated. If Kumogakure didn't want to stand firm and didn't push too hard, Konoha would only be more miserable. Konoha has no one who can stop the 3-generation Reikage, and the 3-generation Reikage can control the battle. Makoto said softly. Makoto is right, now Konoha is in trouble. Hyuga-chan's voice came from behind them. Chen, you scare me, don't be elusive every time. Kushina yelled. Kushina, can you be a little more ladylike? Look at the gentle Makoto, who is shouting, not a little woman. Hyuga-chan said with disgust. You bastard. Kushina's eyes burned, as if she wanted to eat him. Soon, Tsunade's sister, why are you here? Makoto asked curiously, while looking at Shizune behind him, his gentle eyes sharpened. Big pervert, did you say this was abducted by you? Kushina looked at Shizune and said in a bad tone. Of course not, this is Tsunade's little valet, I remember Tsunade 483 seems to have said it. Don't you remember? Hyuga-chen looked at Kushina and Makoto and said. Is there? Kushina looked at Tsunade questioningly. Kushina, Tsunade's sister said it. Don't ask. Makoto cheeked Yuhi. She did remember Tsunade said it. But Tsunade said it in the wrong place. At that time, they were studying the important topic of the mystery of the birth of life. They were all tired of studying and didn't pay much attention to Tsunade's words. This is also because Makoto has a good memory and can only remember. Kushina looked at Makoto suspiciously. Makoto, who was ashamed of Yuhi, whispered in Kushina's ear, and Kushina's face also turned up. Big bad guy. Kushina Yuhi shouted with a face. Hyuga-chen's mouth twitched. At this time, Hyuga-chen chose to remain silent. Silence is golden. He believed that Kushina had prepared a lot of words for him to speak. It was the best choice for him to be silent now. Hyuga-chan's silence made Kushina, who was ready with words to attack him, feel suffocated, as if hitting cotton with all his strength. What are you laughing at? Kushina glared at Hyuga-chen who was grinning. Kushina, you have a good temper. You dare to stare at your husband, and I will clean you up at night, hum hum hum. Hyuga-chen laughed twice, looking at Kushina with both eyes maliciously. Kushina shuddered. I'm not afraid of you. Kushina said stubbornly, obviously wanting to cry, but Kushina still refused to accept it softly. Kushina is one of those dead ducks with a tough mouth. Kushina, it seems that this has nothing to do with us, you can solve it yourself. Tsunade said quickly. I agree with Tsunade's sister on this. Makoto gave Kushina an encouraging smile. But in Kushina's view, no matter how you look at it, it's all gloating. Makoto, I see that you are getting more and more black-bellied, and you are as hateful as the big bad guy Hyuga-chen. It turns out that good sisters share weal and woe, but it turns out to be a lie. Kushina said with a pouted mouth. Why don't I help you? Sister Kushina. Sarah's eyes sparkled with anticipation. That's fine, I don't need you to help me. Kushina refused without hesitation. There was disappointment in Sarah's eyes, and her eyes were full of resentment when she looked at Kushina. I'm going to test the strength of the 3rd-generation Reikage. Looking at the 3rd-generation Reikage in the distance, Kushina was ready to vent his resentment, and the 3rd-generation Reikage was the best punching bag. Kushina rushing towards the battlefield, Hyuga-chen, Makoto and Tsunade did nothing. With Kushina's current strength, even Uchiha Madara at this time may not be her opponent, let alone Reikage of the 3rd generation. 3rd generation Reikage, pick me up. Kushina snorted, armament haki covered his fist, and used chakra-enhanced strength to smash the 3rd generation Reikage's head with a punch. 3rd generation of Reikage was very ignorant, he reacted very quickly. He gave up beheading Konoha Jonin in front of him, concentrated his body strength on his fist, and punched Kushina with one punch. It was just a stalemate for a second, and the 3rd generation Reikage was smashed and flew out. Don't look at Kushina as a woman, she has a perfect sage body. Sage body can not only enhance recovery and chakra, but also greatly enhance physical strength. In Kushina's slender body, there is a strength stronger than the third generation of Reikage, and the speed is faster. Under the guidance of Hyuga Chen, Kushina learned the art of Hiraishin. Humph, you can be a Reikage too. Kushina snorted in disdain. Generation Reikage smashed to the ground, the gravel splashed, and a 10-meter deep hole appeared on the ground. Yuhi-haired woman who appeared out of nowhere. Who are you? 3 generations of Reikage stood up. Although he was blasted away, he was not seriously injured. Me, Kushina said proudly with a weird smile on her face. I am Uzumaki Kushina, Hyuga Chen's wife. What? 3 generations of Reikage took 2 steps back. Uzumaki Kushina. Danzo frowned in the distance. Why is Kushina here? Namikaze Minato looked at Kushina, who suddenly appeared in confusion. Where is Hyuga Chen? 3 generations of Reikage looked around vigilantly. Che, you look down on you too much. Chen doesn't take you seriously at all. Today your opponent is me, Kushina. Lava Fist. The huge magma fist, with Kushina's punching out, the fiery magma fist went straight to the 3rd generation Reikage. If it is hit, it can definitely pierce the 3rd generation Reikage's body. Generation Reikage jumped and avoided the lava fist. The magma fist hit the ground. The powerful impact and the fiery heat of the magma melted the earth into a big pit. There are also many ninjas who have been affected, and not even slag is left in the magma. 3rd generation of Reikage was sweating coldly on his forehead. Even though he had a strong defense, he did not dare to fight this kind of magma attack. Looking at the 3 generation Reikage who jumped into the air, Kushina smiled coldly, and said coquettishly, Meteor Volcano. Kushina's fists turned into lava, and he punched countless giant lava fists. The magma fell like a meteor shower, and the earth instantly turned into a sea of fire. Whether it was Kumogakure or Konoha's ninjas, they all scurried and screamed, and many people didn't even leave their bones behind. The 3rd generation Reikage relied on the extraordinary speed, and was not hit by the front, but the lava everywhere made the 3rd generation Reikage can only keep retreating. So powerful. Sarah and Shizune in the distance looked at the sea of purgatory fire for a long time without saying a word. Sarah is okay. After all, she and Hyuga Chen have experienced time and space, and it is considered to have seen the world. Shizune was speechless in horror. It was the 2nd time she had seen such a powerful force after graduating just over a year ago. The first time was Tsunade a few days ago to destroy the short book street, but this time Kushina's meteor volcano, the visual impact is stronger than Tsunade's use of the shock fruit. Chapter 251 Miserable 3 Generations Reikage. Danzo, Namikaze Minato, and the 3 generations of Reikage all looked ugly. There were many ninjas buried in the fire this time, and it was estimated that 1,000 people died. Among them, the Kumogakure may have a large number, but a lot of Konoha's ninjas have died. Uzumaki Kushina, what are you doing? Why are you attacking Konoha's ninjas? Danzo roared. Shut up. Lava gun. Kushina turned around. A long gun made of lava appeared in her hand, and flew towards Danzo. Danzo's pupils shrank suddenly, and a fatal sense of crisis surrounded him. At this moment, Danzo almost couldn't help but use Izanagi. At the moment of Danzo's crisis, Namikaze Minato instantly appeared beside Danzo, and then took Danzo to use Hiraishin to dodge the lava gun. Namikaze Minato gasped heavily. Originally after a battle, his chakra was running low. Now, in order to save Danzo, he also brought people to use Hiraishin, which made Namikaze Minato's chakra completely bottomed out. Damn sissy. Seeing that Danzo was not hit, Kushina was very upset, and looked at Namikaze Minato very badly. If it wasn't for Uzumaki Tomoko's face, she would definitely make Namikaze Minato look good. My goal is the 3 generations of Reikage, and the idle people leave as quickly as possible, otherwise it will be a matter of casualties. Kushina said with a blank face. Konoha's ninja burst into tears after hearing this. Your target is the 3rd generation of Reikage, so why does it involve us? Withdraw, he shouted loudly, forcibly suppressing the angry Danzo in his heart. The Konoha ninja hurriedly retreated after hearing Danzo's order. 3 generations of Raikage's face sank. The other party's target was him. Did he offend the other party? 3rd generation of Raikage was puzzled, and he would not have thought that Kushina came here to make himself famous. That is, to step on the bones of the 3rd generation of Raikage. You also retreat. Her target is me. 3 generations of Raikage ordered. Seeing what else I wanted to say, the 3rd generation Raikage scolded. You guys staying here will only distract me, so leave quickly. I reluctantly took Kumogakure to the rear, watching his father and Uzumaki Kushina fight. I has already decided in his heart that as long as his father is in danger, even if he is desperate, he will save his father. Danzo also narrowed his eyes, looking at the 3 generations of Raikage and Uzumaki Kushina, wishing for them to perish together. Mokuden, wood style, deep forest emergence. At the beginning of the battle, Kushina used Mokuden, wood style, which shocked everyone, and instantly created a huge forest. Whether it is the 3 generations of Raikage, or the distant Danzo and Namikaze Minato, they are all sluggish. This is Mokuden, wood style, a super powerful escape technique to calm the war in the ninja world. Up to now, its prestige is still circulating in the ninja world, and it is much more famous than the Susanoo of the Uchiha family. Danzo watched Kushina use Mokuden, wood style, with envy and hatred in his eyes, although he could use Mokuden, wood style too, but that wasn't his Kekkei Genkai. Mokuden, wood style, that he reluctantly used by relying on the 1st generation cells, and he couldn't create a forest in an instant like Kushina. Tsunade in the distance also flashed envy in her eyes. As a member of the Senju family, she longed for Mokuden, wood style, in her heart, but unfortunately, she did not learn it at all. Originally I wanted to ask Kushina for advice, but who knew she didn't know what was going on, so Mokuden, wood style, was merged by accident. Tsunade is even more speechless and envious of this. She, the one who wants to get Mokuden, wood style, has worked hard for a long time and can't get it. While Kushina played casually, he easily merged the 3 nature transformations of water, earth and sun to obtain Mokuden, wood style. This incident hit Tsunade hard, and it even made her doubt her life. Feeling the surprised and shocked eyes of everyone, Kushina was very proud, and she liked this kind of high-profile feeling. Suffer to death. Lava Rasengan. Kushina knew that deep forest emergence couldn't help the 3rd generation Raikage at all. She used Mokuden, wood style, to attract attention, shock others, and assist attack. Trapped in deep forest emergence, the 3 generations of Raikage who are constantly being harassed or irritated, especially since these trees can absorb his chakra growth. To be honest, the 3rd generation of Raikage was disgusted, even he felt a headache, let alone other people. Thinking about the scope of deep forest emergence, the 3 generations of Raikage were left in cold sweat. If the Kumogakure troops hadn't retreated, then a deep forest emergence would have been wiped out. No wonder the original Hokage was able to quell the war with Mokuden, wood style. Just when the 3rd generation of Raikage was thinking about it, the lava Rasengan had fallen, and the fiery lava ignited the trees and caused a boundless fire. 3rd generation of Raikage looked ugly. Although the lava Rasengan didn't hit him, it cut off his back path. In the front there is the magma formed using the meteor volcano before, and in the back there is the magma that erupted from the lava Rasengan. Even if he stayed in the middle, these trees were burning violently, and soon the fire would spread to him and engulf him. Water and fire are the most ruthless. Under the boundless fire, the 3rd generation of Raikage is no matter how strong his body is, there is nothing he can do, and the flames can cook him. Father, I looked at the boundless sea of flames worriedly, and now he has nothing to do except to be in a hurry. From a few hundred meters away, he could feel the heat rushing toward his face, and he couldn't imagine what his father was doing now. Also worried are all the Kumogakure. The 3rd generation Raikage is their stabilizing needle, and if something happens to the 3rd generation Raikage, they don't know what to do. This kind of fire. Tsunade's mouth twitched. Even if she faced this overwhelming fire wave, she still had a headache. As for Shizune's little lowly, I've been stunned, can this be caused by humans? This is already a disaster. 3 generations of Reikage are sad now. Hyuga Chen said with a smile. 3rd generation of Reikage is indeed very miserable, the sweat is constantly flowing, the skin of the mouth is dry and cracked, and the expression is extremely solemn. Now he not only has to face the boundless sea of fire, but also the billowing smoke, because the smoke inhaled too much, the 3 generations of Reikage are not sober. Knocked his head hard, barely sobered up, and looking at the rapidly approaching flames, the 3rd generation Reikage was ready to rush out. If he doesn't rush out again, he may never be able to rush out, and he will be buried here forever. Thunder surrounded the whole body, the leg muscles collapsed tightly, and then rushed into the sea of fire in an instant. At his fastest speed, the 3rd generation Reikage finally rushed out, but the 3rd generation Reikage at this time was very miserable, because he didn't pay attention to his feet. Half of his feet fell into the magma, and half of the soles of his feet were missing. 3rd generation of Reikage's face was pale. Although he lost half of the sole of his foot, he bit Kiba without saying a word. Standing on the ground without magma, he calmed down and fell into contemplation. At this time, he was trying to find a way to break the game. Although he rushed out of the sea of fire, it did not mean that he was safe. There was still a Uzumaki Kushina in front of him. If he wants to live, he has to pass the Kushina level. Chapter 252 3 Generations of Reikage Die. I didn't expect you, the old man, to escape. Kushina looked at the 3 generations of Reikage in amazement. At this time, she was really impressed by the 3 generations of Reikage. 3rd generation of Reikage's expression was slightly bitter. Are you going to trouble the village of Kumogakure after I die? The 3rd Reikage's thick voice sounded. No, they're not as famous as you, Kushina thought, then said. She just wanted her name of the invincible beautiful girl in the ninja world to spread throughout the ninja world, not for killing. There is absolutely no need to pay attention to those ninjas in Kumogakure village. Kushina wouldn't be polite if they asked her for trouble. 3rd generation of Reikage breathed a sigh of relief, since he was relieved. In fact, in his heart, he already knew that he was in a situation of mortal death. Even if he can defeat Uzumaki Kushina, he can't survive because there is a Hyuga Chen behind Uzumaki Kushina. Leave everything and fight with all your strength. The 3rd Reikage roared, rushing towards Kushina like lightning. This may be his final battle. He doesn't want to leave any regrets in this battle. He will go all out and feel at ease even if he dies. Hell stab 1 stop. Using his strongest attack, he rushed towards Kushina at a thunderous speed, aiming his fingers at Kushina's head. Humph. Kushina hummed softly. Observation Haki could clearly capture the attack trajectory of the 3rd generation Reikage. 6 forms Moon Step. Before the 3rd Reikage attack arrived, Kushina used the Moon Step to fly into the sky, easily dodging the 3rd Reikage's strongest attack. 3rd generation of Reikage frowned. The other party could fly. It would be difficult to handle, which was very disadvantageous to him. Seeing Kushina move in the air by stepping on the air, the 3rd generation of Reikage's eyes flashed, and he also wanted to try it. The result is naturally self-evident. The principle of the moon step seems to be very simple. In fact, it requires a lot of skills, not brute force. Of course, if the strength reaches a certain level, it is indeed possible to rely on brute force to achieve a similar effect to the moon step, such as Might Guy, which opens 8 doors. Magma Hell. Kushina's expression condensed and shouted. Generation Reikage looked at Kushina vigilantly, not daring to be careless. After a while, the 3rd generation Reikage had a question mark on his face. There was no movement at all. Could it be that the ninjutsu failed? Just when the 3 generations of Reikage thought this way, he suddenly felt the tremor of the earth, and at this time, the 3 generations of Reikage had an ominous premonition in his heart. Boom, boom, boom. More than a dozen magma Jinchuriki columns suddenly sprayed into the sky, and the magma erupted from the ground became stronger and stronger. 3rd generation of Reikage looked at this scene, His face changed greatly, his tone trembled slightly. Volcanic eruption. In the country of thunder with many volcanoes, how has the third-generation Reikage never seen a volcanic eruption? The current situation is no different from a volcanic eruption. Danzo watched the lava spray Izumi, and immediately shouted decisively, "Retreat, all retreat for me." I watched the hundreds of meters high magma spurting Izumi, bit Kiba and shouted, "Retreat." Now there is no other way than retreat. Even if he leads someone to rush up, he can't save his father. At this time, he must be rational. Ground is still shaking, and the third generation of Reikage has calmed down. He has lived for so many years, and he has seen many big scenes. Although this scene shocked him now, it will not make him completely panic. Eyes swept around, and the increasing amount of magma sprayed Izumi, which had completely blocked his back path. In other words, the current three-generation Reikage has absolutely no way to escape. Contemplating, the third-generation Reikage opened his eyes again, with a firm look in his eyes. He would never give up until the last moment. This is not his style. What is Kushina doing? Makoto looked puzzled. To make volcanoes, rock berries can be developed to the depths and can make volcanoes. Hyuga-chan said with a faint smile on the corner of his mouth. What? Create a volcano? Tsunade was shocked, and even a little disbelieving. This is the power of nature. How powerful it will be, Tsunade didn't dare to imagine. Hyuga-chan shook his head. Making a volcano sounded terrifying, but in fact the power of this move was not as powerful as he imagined. This move only looks shocking. It is okay to deal with weak people, but it is not so easy to deal with the same level. Like the Tengai Shinsei, heavenly obstacle quaking star, used by Uchiha Madara, the summoning meteorite looks strong, but it's hard to work against people of the same level. The main reason is that the speed of creating volcanic clusters is very slow. At that time, the enemy would have already run away. These three generations of Reikage are also stupid. If he has to stand still, if he rushes out now, he will be injured at most. If you stay there, you will definitely lose your life. Third generation of Reikage felt the rising temperature, the bulge of the ground, and the unease in his heart became stronger and stronger. Glancing at the billowing magma around him, he hesitated in his heart, but in the end he chose to believe in himself and stay here to adapt to the changes. Three generations of Reikage believe in himself. No matter what bad situation happens, he can handle it. This is the confidence of the strong. Kushina in the sky laughed. She was thinking about escaping against the three generations of Reikage. I didn't expect the three generations of Reikage to cooperate so well, and they didn't run. Disappear in the lava, Kushina shouted. The ground, which had been slowly rising, suddenly rose hundreds of meters. At this time, the crisis of ultimate loomed over the third generation Reikage, feeling the heat and vibration under his feet, and the third generation Reikage felt bad. Isn't this a complete volcano now? There were also more than a dozen smaller volcanoes around them, and the surging breath seemed to be about to erupt. The retreating two village ninjas glanced back curiously, and then they were almost dumbfounded, and ran forward desperately, only regretting that their parents didn't give them more legs. Third generation of Reikage also moved, and it would be a real fool not to escape now, but it was too late, and everything was over. Boom! A sound of shock could be heard for 100 miles. The suppressed volcano erupted completely, and the entire sky was dyed the color of yuhi. The magma sprayed for several hundred meters, and there was no volcanic ash at all, which seemed unscientific, but the ability of rock fruit to be unscientific was originally unscientific. At this time, the 5.9 Earth has become a purgatory formed by magma, and the third generation Reikage cannot escape even if it is very fast. Under this overwhelming lava, the three generations of Reikage persisted for a while, and were completely submerged by the lava. Although the third generation Reikage is known as the strongest shield, under the impact of the magma, there is no slag left that will soon die. I looked at the spectacular scenery behind him, and there was a trace of sadness on his face. The radius of 10 kilometers was completely submerged by the magma flow. Will his father still be alive? The faces of the ninjas in Kumogakure village were all filled with sadness. They already knew in their hearts that the third-generation Reikage would never survive. The power of nature is really awe-inspiring. Tsunade said silently, if she could have easily escaped before the volcano erupted, but once the volcano erupted completely, she would definitely not be able to escape. No way, who made Tsunade not know space ninjutsu? Chapter 253 Professional Pit Teammate, Danzo. Death of the third generation of Reikage, Kushina left. Kushina walked very casually, but there was a permanent active volcano here. The ninjas of Kumogakure and Konoha looked at the volcanoes and said nothing. Konoha, I won't let you go. Ai's eyes were red Yuhi, and he shouted up to the sky. Even the Konoha ninjas who were separated by the volcanoes could hear Ai's roar. The Konoha side is depressed. What does this have to do with them? Wouldn't it be because they were afraid of the powerful power of others, did not dare to provoke them, and then wanted to vent their anger with Konoha? This is indeed the case. I knew that Uzumaki Kushina could not do anything at all, so he simply aimed all the blame at Konoha, and Uzumaki Kushina was once a person of Konoha, so I transferred all resentment to Konoha. However, at this time, Kumogakure could not rush to fight Konoha. The land in front of him turned into a sea of magma, and whoever passed would die. Moreover, the death of the third generation of Reikage will have a considerable follow-up impact. Fortunately, this is a relatively united Kumogakure village, and the next generation of Reikage has also been determined. If it were a village with internal discord, it would be a headache to fight for the position of shadow. Return 100 miles one after another, and then make plans. Ai's eyes were bloodshot, and he said dully. Konoha finally breathed a sigh of relief. With the magma sea in front of them as a barrier, they could take a breath. If Kumogakure wanted to do something to them, he could only bypass this piece of magma, which finally freed them from the high-rhythm continuous battle, and could temporarily relax their tense nerves. Danzo looked at the lava sea in front of him and became interested in Yoden, lava style, in his heart. The various Yoden, lava style, ninjutsu released by Uzumaki Kushina were no weaker than Mokuden, wood style. Most importantly, Danzo wants to know how Uzumaki Kushina uses Mokuden, wood style, although Uzumaki Kushina simply uses Mokuden, wood style, but Danzo can still see that her Mokuden, wood style, is not disabled defective, but a real Mokuden, wood style. For powerful power, Danzo has been watching, whether it is Mokuden, wood style, or Sharingan, especially the power of Hyuga-chen, that is what Danzo is most envious of. If he can have the power of Hyuga-chen, is he afraid that he will not be able to become Hokage? Unifying the ninja world is not delusional. Of course, although Danzo peeped at Hyuga-chen's power, Danzo didn't dare to make any small moves. Lord Danzo, I don't know what to do next. Namikaze Minato asked. Danzo glanced at Namikaze Minato and said lightly, watch what happens. Namikaze Minato opened his mouth and said nothing in the end. Although he is very strong, on the battlefield, the commander Danzo has the most power to speak. Looks like you have other thoughts. Danzo's face was expressionless, and no one could see what was on his mind. I think it's time to cut off Kumogakure's supplies. Namikaze Minato's eyes shone brightly. Although the third generation of Reikage is dead, Namikaze Minato does not think that Kumogakure village will withdraw from the Third Ninja War. However, after the death of the third generation of Reikage, the Kumogakure village will definitely be rioted for a period of time, and this is their chance. If they can cut off Kumogakure's supplies, they can regain the initiative from the passive beating situation. Especially Kumogakure is now deep into the country of fire, and the front line is very long. Once the supply is cut off, Kumogakure's life will definitely be difficult. Your proposal is very good. Danzo's face showed no disapproval, no approval. I don't know that, Danzo-sama. You think supplies are so easy to cut off? Danzo sneered. Didn't he know how to cut off Kumogakure's supplies? Key is that Kumogakure's protection of materials can be easily destroyed, and even if he is not careful, he will lose his wife and lose his troops. I'm going I'm confident that I can cut off Kumogakur's supplies. Namikaze Minato looked determined. Danzo stared at Namikaze Minato closely, and nodded after a long while. I can give you a squad, but if you can't complete the mission, you will die. Apologize with death. Is this too serious? Namikaze Minato opened his mouth, but in the end he did not refute, but responded. He believed that he could complete the task and become a strong person who had strong self-confidence in himself, and Namikaze Minato was no exception. However, Namikaze Minato's face was completely pulled down when he saw the squad that Danzo gave him, an 8-person squad, the strongest being 2 Chunin, and 6 Genin cannon fodder. Is this to help him complete the task, or is it to be a fuel bottle for him? A sneer appeared on Danzo's face, and the strength displayed by Namikaze Minato made Danzo feel threatened. Why Danzo uses this trick to take the opportunity to get rid of Namikaze Minato. And even if Namikaze Minato doesn't end up being eliminated, and he really gets the job done, Danzo has nothing to lose. At that time, others will only say that he has a good leadership, which is only good for him, not bad. What's more, Danzo doesn't believe that Namikaze Minato can complete the task. He knows that Namikaze Minato is good, but with a few dragging oil bottles, the possibility of completing the task is almost zero. I have to say that Danzo, the old fox, has a good abacus. However, when this kind of Konoha could be finished at any time, Danzo was still thinking about calculating his own people. It is estimated that no one can compare to the ancient and modern ninja world. Namikaze Minato looked at Danzo with a dark face, but Danzo ignored him at all, not even looking at him. His Danzo professionally pitted his teammates for 30 years, how could he get a false reputation? It's easy for people to be discovered, so I'll go alone. Namikaze Minato turned to leave Konoha's station, feeling aggrieved in his heart. Whatever you want, Danzo replied lightly. Namikaze Minato had a bitter smile on his face, not because he looked down on the group of 847, but because he really couldn't take it. A group of Chunin and Genin, not only can't help him in any way, but will drag him down, it's better to act alone. The bitter Namikaze Minato embarks on a journey to cut off Kumogakur supplies alone, the hardships only he knows. Hyugatatsu, Makoto, Tsunade, Sarah, Shizune, including Piggy Dolphin, all stared at the front without a word. Master Kushina, rest assured, this matter is guaranteed to be done properly. You can rest assured that we will do things, and ensure that your great deeds will be broadcast on the TV the next day. This is the best. If you dare to fool me, I will demolish this place. Kushina smashed a wall with one punch, protesting. Absolutely not, absolutely not. The fat middle-aged man wiped away a cold sweat and quickly replied. All right then, let's go. Kushina turned to look at the speechless Hyuga-chen and the others. Oh, Kushina's voice brought them back to their senses and left the TV station with a blank expression. After a long time, Hyuga-chen completely regained his senses and asked speechlessly, how did you think of coming here to promote it? Humph, my clever Kushina, how could I not have thought of it? Kushina Tsunade snorted, looking very proud. On TV, then her reputation as Kushina will definitely spread throughout the ninja world soon. Chapter 254 My Tsunade starved to death, and Hyuga-chen looked at Kushina and could only say admiration. He was willing to give up. The next morning, Kushina turned on the TV with great interest, regardless of her exhaustion. Sure enough, it was all about her Kushina's glorious deeds, and all kinds of compliments were endless. As for why Kushina was tired, of course, it was because last night, Hyuga-chen and Kushina were studying the big thing about human reproduction. Wake up so early, Makoto, who had just woken up, looked at the two of them in astonishment. Hyuga-chen pointed at the TV, and then at Kushina, who was lying on the sofa and didn't want to move at all. Makoto nodded knowingly, and went to make breakfast. Those guys really dare to broadcast, and they're not afraid that Kumogakur will make trouble with them. Hyuga-chen watched various content on TV that praised Kushina and then stepped on the third-generation rakage, and admired the group of people on the TV station. For the money, he dares to do anything. I'm so sleepy. Kushina yawned, leaned against Hyuga-chen's arms, and fell asleep after a while. You're so old, you're still like a child, but you're so cute. Hyuga-chen gently stroked Kushina Yuhi's hair and whispered. People are not children, Kushina said in a daze, as if hearing Hyuga-chen's words. Hyuga-chen chuckled, kissed Kushina on the cheek, put her gently on the sofa, and walked into the kitchen. After Tsunade woke up, he looked at Kushina sleeping on the sofa, and was stunned. Why did Kushina sleep here? Could it be that he was kicked out because he couldn't fill up Hyuga-chen? Tsunade guessed maliciously. The end, I came to a conclusion that Hyuga-chen is really not a thing, and actually drove Kushina out, and must be condemned. Wash up and enter the kitchen, want to go to the kitchen to find something to eat. As soon as he entered the kitchen and looked at Hyuga Tatsu and Makoto hugging each other, Tsunade was stunned again. Beast, scum. Tsunade took a few slices of bread and toast and gave Hyuga-chen a contemptuous look. Hyuga-chen looked at Tsunade with a question mark on his face. If Hyuga-chen knew Tsunade's random brain supplement, she would definitely let her understand what cruelty is. Makoto hurriedly pushed Hyuga-chen away with a face like Yuhi, as if he was caught doing something bad, and threw Hyuga-chen out of the kitchen. If you let him stay in the kitchen again, then you don't have to eat breakfast, you can just eat lunch. Hyuga-chen walked out of the kitchen depressed, gave Tsunade a vicious look, and actually did bad things to him. It seemed that she had to be cleaned up. Hyuga-chen looked at Tsunade with a meaningful smile on his face. Tsunade shivered uncontrollably, looked at Hyuga-chen's malicious eyes, and couldn't help shrinking his head. What are you looking at? Those eyes are so evil. The carefree Tsunade couldn't bear Hyuga-chen's gaze, and moved his body inside. But this time, she met Kushina. The awakened Kushina was very angry. She had a lot of anger to get up. No matter what, she bit Tsunade's white arm. Kushina, let go, it hurts me to death. Tsunade wanted to cry without tears, looking angrily at Kushina who was biting her and didn't let go. Kushina then let go, rubbed his eyes, and said angrily, "Who made you wake me up? I deserve it." Damn Kushina, your mouth is so cruel, it's a dog. Tsunade looked at the row of kiba marks on Bainen's arms, which were bloodshot, showing the weight of Kushina's mouth. You can't blame me for this, blame him. Kushina pointed to Hyuga-chen. Hyuga-chen, who was watching with a strong onlooker, looked innocent. I didn't do anything, so a black pot flew from the sky and pressed it on his back. What does this have to do with me? Don't keep making me the culprit. Hyuga-chen retorted with an innocent face. It's not that you have rough skin and thick flesh, because I often bite you, so my mouth is naturally neither light nor heavy. Kushina forcibly placed the pot on Hyuga-chen's body. Okay, who told you to be my woman? I've carried the pot. Hyuga-chen looked at the ceiling with a sad look in his eyes. Kushina felt embarrassed now, and hurriedly walked to Hyuga-chen's side, pinching his shoulders and serving tea. There was no expression on Hyuga-chen's face, and his heart was overwhelmed with joy. Tsunade folded her arms and looked aggrieved. She was really unlucky today. Could it be the reason why she didn't read the almanac when she woke up today? Does it hurt you a little? Kushina said. Then you take your arm and I'll give you a bite too, so you can try it too. Tsunade said unhappily. I'm not stupid. Kushina shook her head quickly, looking at Tsunade's expression with some schadenfreude. I'm really pissed off. Tsunade slapped the sofa angrily, but fortunately she didn't exert any force, otherwise the whole house would collapse. Master Tsunade, why are you so angry? Shizune rubbed his eyes and walked out. Of the big scene that Kushina made yesterday, Shizune lost sleep, and his mind was full of the sea of lava and fire, so he got up now. Sarah also has insomnia. The reason why she has insomnia is because she was lying in the corner of Hyuga-chen's door listening to the wall last night, so she didn't fall asleep all night. Hyuga-chan looked at Sarah, who came out with a meaningful smile on her face. Sarah's face was Yuhi. She knew about the eavesdropping and should have been discovered, and Sarah was very shy. It's time for dinner. Makoto brought out a large bowl of miso soup, along with rice balls, eggs, and more. No food, no appetite. That's great. Since Sister Tsunade doesn't eat it, let me eat it for Sister Tsunade. Kushina jumped up excitedly. Tsunade glared at Kushina, bit Kiba and said, then I will trouble Sister Kushina. No trouble at all. Kushina smiled and brought the small bowl of miso soup beside Tsunade. Makoto was stunned, completely clueless as to what was going on, and suddenly he was so arrogant. Hyuga-chan glanced at it, then lowered his head to eat breakfast, telling him intuitively that if he got involved, it would only be worse. Kushina drank the miso soup happily, looked at Tsunade with smug eyes, and Tsunade Kiba bit his teeth in anger. Master Tsunade, are you really not eating? It's delicious. Shizune asked with the rice ball in his hand, which was definitely the best rice ball she had ever eaten. No, I'm not hungry. Tsunade said stubbornly. She didn't want to lose face. Even if Tsunade starved to death, I would never eat a bite. Looking at Tsunade, who was trying to save face, Hyuga-chan picked up a rice ball and put it to Tsunade's mouth. Tsunade sniffed the aroma, swallowed, and then couldn't help but take a bite. As for face, now food comes first, and things like face cannot be eaten. Chapter 255 Goodbye Uchiha Madara. What are you doing with that old man Uchiha Madara? Tsunade said unhappily, since Tsunade has always been very dissatisfied with Uchiha Madara. After all, her grandfather Senju Hashirama died because of Uchiha Madara. Of course there are things I want to talk to him about. Let's go. Hyuga-chan pulled Tsunade, who was complaining, and led Makoto and the others towards the Land of Water. Passing through the fierce battle between Kurigakure village and Konoha village, Hyuga-chan and the others ignored it and went directly to the Land of Water. No, I seem to be seasick. Shizune was lying on the deck with stars in his eyes, looking like he wanted to vomit. This ship is so stable, it's no different from being on land. I said, how could you get seasick? Hyuga-chan asked with a look on his face. I don't know either. Shizune swayed, because she was seasick for no reason. Then go to sleep first. Hyuga-chan was helpless and used demonic illusion to hypnotize Shizune to sleep. Because of Hyuga-chan's push, in less than half an hour, he came to the Land of Water. Where is Uchiha Madara in the Land of Water? Kushina asked, jumping off the boat. In Kurigakure village. Let's go to Kurigakure village to find him. Hyuga-chan said, and Hyuga-chan called out Terumi-mei and Konan in the system space. Originally, Lalu Lassie also wanted to come out, but Shueheim left her behind and asked Lalu Lassie to accompany her, which made Lalu Lassie very embarrassed. I've finally returned to the Land of Water, and it's still a familiar scent. Terumi-mei felt the water vapor in the air, and said slightly excitedly. Let's go to Kurigakure village. Hyuga-chan took a group of girls and headed for Kurigakure village. The mist in the Land of Water is really disgusting. Kushina used the rockberry power to evaporate all the water vapor. I have lived here for 10 years, and the Land of Water is like this. Terumi-mei shrugged. The reason why Kurigakure village is called Kurigakure village is because it is shrouded in fog all the year round. For those who have been living in the Land of Water, this is already accustomed to, but for those who come here for the first time, most of them are unacceptable. Although Hyuga-chan and the others lived in the Land of Water for 3 years, the dense fog and water vapor on that island were all dissipated by Hyuga-chan, which was no different from the mainland. Came to Kurigakure village, the 3 generations of Mizukage had already stood outside the village to greet him. As for why he greeted him here, it was because when Hyuga-chan came to look for Uchiha Madara, he had already asked White Zetsu to inform Uchiha Madara. Lead the way ahead. Hyuga-chan didn't want to talk nonsense with this puppet controlled by Uchiha Madara, and let him lead the way. 3rd generation of Mizukage led the way silently, and some Kurigakure looked at him with strange expressions on their faces. Some people even showed anger on their faces, because seeing the appearance of the 3 generations of Mizukage, they were almost the same as the servants, which made them very dissatisfied. As the shadow of a village, how can you be so embarrassed, and they don't have to face the village of Kurigakure? However, no one paid any attention to these tricks. Under the leadership of the 3rd generation of Mizukage, they came to the home of the 3rd generation of Mizukage. Then the 3 generations of Mizukage stepped aside wisely. Is he the legendary Uchiha Madara? He looks so ugly, Terumi-Mae asked with a look of disgust. At this time, the old Uchiha Madara is not as handsome as when he was young, and an ugly word is not enough to describe the current Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara was silent, as if he hadn't heard it, but the moment he saw Hyuga-chen, he almost couldn't control his emotions. Just when he was about to go wild, the stinging pain in Uchiha Madara's mind made him wake up, and his life was still in the hands of others. What's your purpose for looking for me? There was no change on the face, but Uchiha Madara was already vigilant in his heart. To the 3 treasures hall for nothing, Uchiha Madara knew that Hyuga-chen would not find him for nothing. Master Madara seems to be wary of me. Hyuga-chen laughed and sat opposite Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara was silent. Hyuga-chen was the biggest enemy in his life. Even in the hands of his old friend Senju Hashirama, he never suffered such a big loss. At this time, as long as he has the killing intent towards Hyuga-chen, he will suffer unspeakable pain, the kind of stinging pain in his soul that drives him crazy. It's really boring. Hyuga-chen looked at Uchiha Madara, who was silent, and shook his head. I'm here just to tell you a secret. Hyuga-chen smiled lightly, took out a jug of wine, a wine glass, and poured himself a drink. Master Madara, do you want some? Hyuga-chen asked enthusiastically. Humph. Uchiha Madara snorted coldly. He dared not drink Hyuga-chen's wine. However, he was very interested in the secrets in Hyuga Tatsu's mouth, but in order to maintain the force, of course Uchiha Madara would not lower his face and ask directly. Time passed slowly, and half an hour passed, but Uchiha Madara still seemed to be in a hurry. Hyuga-chen did not hesitate to pour himself a drink, and the girls, led by an acquaintance Terumi-Mae, went out to play. Terumi-Mae, who was born here, other girls are very interested in Kurigakure village. In the whole ninja world, Kurigakure village is very mysterious and almost never contacts with other countries. Therefore, in the entire ninja world, little is known about the village of Kurigakure. After a few minutes passed again, Hyuga-chen put down the wine glass. He didn't have time to spend time with the lousy old man Uchiha Madara. He might as well go to accompany the beauty if he had time. So Hyuga-chen didn't give up and said directly, 6 paths immortal, the old guy, didn't die at all. Uchiha Madara's pupils shrank, including Black Zetsu, who was hiding on Uchiha Madara's body. Seeing Uchiha Madara's shocked look, Hyuga-chen was satisfied. Uchiha Madara as Uchiha Madara, recovered quickly, and asked calmly, how did you know? What evidence? Although it seems calm, but Uchiha Madara is very anxious. He does not believe that Hyuga-chen is talking nonsense. Remember that puppet I used to be. He is the younger brother of the 6 paths immortal. Hyuga-chen said lightly. Uchiha Madara was silent for a while. He certainly remembered that puppet. If it wasn't for Izanagi, he would have been beaten to death. Now it can be explained why the puppet is so powerful. That doesn't prove that the 6 paths sage is still alive. Uchiha Madara said, from his heart, he really didn't want the 6 paths sage to be alive. Uchiha Madara, like Hyuga-chen, will speculate on others with the greatest malice. If the 6 paths immortal is really alive, then he is probably one of the biggest stumbling blocks. Otsutsuki Hamura, the younger brother of Immortal 6 Paths, was also alive. Hyuga-chen raised his glass and drank it. He believed that Uchiha Madara understood what he meant. Uchiha Madara's eyes narrowed slightly. The younger brother of the 6 Paths Immortal was also alive, but now he is dead, and the body is still in the hands of Hyuga-chen, the cause of the death of the immortal Six Paths immortal brother is naturally self-evident. And if the younger brother of the Six Paths immortal can survive, then the more famous Six Paths immortal will definitely not die. Ha ha ha, that's funny, Uchiha Madara said with a big laugh. Chapter 256 Fooling Uchiha Madara. Hyuga-chen silently looked at Uchiha Madara, who was laughing nervously, not knowing what he was laughing at. What are you laughing at? Laughing like a big idiot. Hyuga-chen looked at Uchiha Madara with the eyes of a mentally handicapped person. Uchiha Madara's laughter came to an abrupt end. Don't you think it's very interesting that the Six Paths immortals are still alive? Uchiha Madara's eyes shone with light, and there was no twilight in him at this moment. It'd be an honor to play against the Six Paths immortals. Uchiha Madara is a very belligerent person, and he is arrogant and doesn't think he is worse than anyone else. Interesting. Don't play tricks with me here, the Six Paths fairy can slap you to death. Hyuga-chan's words were like a sledgehammer, hitting Uchiha Madara's mind. You don't think that if you live for decades, you can fight the Six Paths immortals who have lived for thousands of years? Hyuga-chen sneered at Uchiha Madara with contempt. I tell you, you are actually a chess piece in the hands of the Six Paths immortal. The stone tablet you saw was actually left by the Six Paths immortal on purpose. What? This time Uchiha Madara couldn't sit still, stood up and looked at Hyuga-chen in shock. Black Zetsu, who stayed on Uchiha Madara, was also full of question marks. He didn't know what the hell Hyuga-chen was doing, but after listening to Hyuga-chen's words, he did believe that the Six Paths immortal was not dead. The Six Paths immortal founded the ninja sect and passed on the chakra to get more chakra, and you are the pigs raised by the Six Paths immortal, waiting for his slaughter. He left that stone tablet to make you a 10 tails Jinchuriki, column force, activate infinite Tsukuyomi, and then gather all the chakras of the whole world, until you become a 10 tails Jinchuriki, column force. That is when he comes to pluck the fruits of victory. Infinite Tsukuyomi is actually a conspiracy. Hyuga-chan's half-truth remarks stunned Uchiha Madara for a moment. Uchiha Madara sat down, feeling very uneasy, but it was impossible for him to completely trust Hyuga-chen's words. Hyuga-chen also saw the unbelief in Uchiha Madara's eyes, so he continued. The demonic illusion of infinite Tsukuyomi is recorded by the Six Paths steel, and the Six Paths steel was left by the Six Paths immortal, so he must also infinite Tsukuyomi, so why doesn't he activate infinite Tsukuyomi to achieve eternal peace? Uchiha Madara clenched his fists, and at this moment he believed Hyuga-chen's words a little. Black Zetsu is very nervous. Uchiha Madara will not give up the infinite Tsukuyomi plan because of Hyuga Tatsu's words. You want me to give up the infinite Tsukuyomi plan? Uchiha Madara was slightly wary. He is not someone who will be shaken by a few words from others. Of course not. Not only will I not give up the infinite Tsukuyomi plan, but I will also work hard to complete it. Only in this way can I find out the guy who is hiding in the dark, the immortal Six Paths. Hyuga-chen shook his head and said. Why did you tell me? It could be seen that Uchiha Madara was extremely distrustful of Hyuga-chen. A big guy who has been hidden for thousands of years, I have no confidence to defeat it, so of course I will call you. Hyuga-chen took a sip of his wine and said with a smile. I'm a good sake, how about a drink? No need. Uchiha Madara refused again. He was thinking about the truthfulness of Hyuga-chan's words. After all, Hyuga-chan's character was not very good, so he couldn't easily believe Hyuga-chan. Otherwise, I am afraid that it will be sold, and I will help the other party to count the money. Last time, it was because of his carelessness that he fell for Hyuga-chan's calculations, and now facing Hyuga-chan, his momentum will be weaker by 3 points. Felt like he was going to be shorter in the face of Hyuga-chan. This feeling was very aggrieved, but there was no way, who made the curse in his soul unable to be lifted. Seeing the fox-like smile on Hyuga-chan's face, he subconsciously didn't believe it. Once bitten, twice shy. Now Uchiha Madara is like this, because he was pitted by Hyuga-chen once, he is still terrified. What is your ultimate goal? Uchiha Madara asked directly. I'm just inviting you to deal with the Six Paths Immortal with me. Madara, you don't need to maliciously guess at me. Hyuga-chen waved his hand. It's natural to deal with the Six Paths Immortals, and I also want to see the methods of the first ancestor of the Genin world. Uchiha Madara's eyes narrowed, full of fighting intent. Don't get me wrong, Madara, what I'm inviting is the success of the plan and the strength of the Ten Tails Jinchuriki column, not the current rookie. Whether you are qualified to wrestle with the Six Paths Immortal depends on the future. Who knows if you are qualified in the end? Hyuga-chen slapped mercilessly. But what Hyuga-chen said is also true. The current Uchiha Madara is not even qualified to play with the Six Paths Immortal. Uchiha Madara's face was as gloomy as water. He knew that Hyuga-chen was looking down on him, and since he was born, Hyuga-chen was the first person to look down on him. Don't be so gloomy. Hyuga-chen reached out and grabbed, and a dark tomo mark flew out from Uchiha Madara's soul. This is... Uchiha Madara asked hastily. You already guessed it, didn't you? Hyuga-chen smiled lightly. Uchiha Madara was very excited. He could clearly feel that the suppressed feeling in his soul had disappeared. At this time, Uchiha Madara was like a bird that finally flew out of the cage, completely liberated and completely free. After being excited for a while, Uchiha Madara calmed down, but instead became vigilant in her heart, whether there might be any conspiracy. If it were Uchiha Madara himself, would he be so kind? The answer is no. There is no need to suspect that there is a conspiracy. I don't need any conspiracy against you. Hyuga-chen glanced at Uchiha Madara, his aura pressed towards Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara took a breath, and a mouthful of old blood rushed to his mouth, but Uchiha Madara swallowed it back. Just when Uchiha Madara wanted to fight back, Hyuga-chen's momentum suddenly dissipated, as if it had never appeared before. Uchiha Madara's face turned Yuhi's face. He was ready to fight back, but he didn't expect that Hyuga-chen would not play with him, which made Uchiha Madara very uncomfortable and aggrieved. When you are dead, give me your Mangekyo Sharingan with the Earth Life Eye technique. It will be my reward for unlocking the curse. Get up and leave. He wasn't in the mood to chat with Uchiha Madara here, so if he had the time, he might as well go to Tsunade and the others to have a romantic relationship. When leaving, Hyuga-chen gave Uchiha Madara a deep look. In fact, Hyuga-chen is not looking at Uchiha Madara, but Black Zetsu hidden in Uchiha Madara. He knows that Black Zetsu's purpose is not only to resurrect Otsutsuki Kagaya. In the parallel world traversed through the dragon veins, the Black Zetsu of that world died in the hands of Hyuga-chen. Similarly, Hyuga-chen, the memory of Black Zetsu, also checked and learned some secrets about Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu, this guy is not simple, ambitious. After Hyuga-chen left, Uchiha Madara's expression was solemn. How did Hyuga-chen know that Mangekyo Sharingan's pupils had a special life? At this point Uchiha Madara was puzzled, and at the same time he felt the mystery of Hyuga-chen. Uchiha Madara put the question aside for the time being, and began to close his eyes and meditate. The news that the Six Paths Immortal was not dead had a big impact on him. Even though he was calm on the surface, he had already set off waves in his heart. Chapter 257 The Seven Ninja Swordsmen, Kuriarer Kushimaru. What did you talk about with Uchiha Madara? Kushina asked curiously. It's nothing, I just told him that the Six Paths Immortals are still alive. Hyuga-chen had a meaningful look on his face, wondering if Uchiha Madara and the Six Paths Immortals would fight in the future. Why tell him? Because it's funny. I want to see if there will be a plot where my son beats his father in the future. Hyuga-chen's face was full of mischief. Uchiha Madara is the reincarnation of Indra's chakra, and he is also the son of the Six Paths Immortal. If the two of them work together, it will not be similar to the Six Paths brothers who sealed Kagaya Heim. However, even if Uchiha Madara becomes the Ten Tails Person Jinchuriki column force, he is not the opponent of the Six Paths Immortal. As Hyuga-chen, who has played against the Six Paths Immortal, he has the most say. Little white face, you are blocking my way. A cold voice came from in front of Hyuga-chan, and Hyuga-chan, who was talking to the girls, turned his head and looked forward. A yellow spiky head, wearing a Kurigakure Anbu mask, and slender limbs, it looks very tall, and it is initially estimated to be more than 2 meters tall. Hyuga-chan was 1.87 meters tall, and in front of the bamboo pole that was more than 2 meters tall, he was almost a head shorter, so he could only look up at the other side, which made Hyuga-chan very upset. Stinky boy, what are you looking at? Do you want me to screw your head off? Kuriarare Kushimaru showed a cruel smile on his face, but Hyuga-chan couldn't see because of the mask. This guy is so rude. Kushina on the side was very dissatisfied and clenched his fists. What's your name? Hyuga-chan's mouth twitched slightly, looking at him playfully. Unexpectedly, someone dared to provoke him, and he was really impatient. Little white face, listen carefully, I am Kuriarare Kushimaru, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, I'm afraid. Ha ha ha, Kuriarare Kushimaru laughed wildly. The 7 ninja swordsmen. At this time, Hyuga-chan also looked at this guy one more time. To be honest, this guy is just a little minion. If he doesn't sign up, Hyuga-chan doesn't even know him. And needle in his hand, Hyuga-chan wanted to complain, this ninja knife is really weird. You are Kuriarare Kushimaru who is weak like a woman with an oversized embroidery needle. Hyuga-chan looked at this guy with contempt. What did you say? Kuriarare Kushimaru was furious. Since becoming the 7 ninja swordsmen, Kuriarare Kushimaru has been lawless, and even 3 generations of Mizukage have no respect. Now facing Hyuga-chan's contempt, Kuriarare Kushimaru was furious. People on the street saw that Hyuga-chan angered Kuriarare Kushimaru, and they stayed away from here, for fear of causing trouble. They could understand Kuriarare Kushimaru's cruel character. It angered Kuriarare Kushimaru, and their group is finished. A ninja in the distance showed a schadenfreude expression. With so many beautiful women around Hyuga-chan, a man would be jealous. Pity those beauties, alas. While gloating at the misfortune, he could not help but sigh for those beauties. Kuriarare Kushimaru is extremely cruel. He doesn't see any beauty in his eyes. As long as it makes him unhappy, he will kill them all. What I hate the most in my life is the little white face. Kuriarare Kushimaru looked at Hyuga-chan's handsome face jealously. Why did he wear a mask all the time? It was not because he was ugly and had no face, so he covered his face. Give me death. Kuriarare Kushimaru stabbed with the needle, trying to pierce Hyuga-chan. Thinking of Hyuga-chan's wailing, Kuriarare Kushimaru let out an excited laugh. Kurigakure village is really messy, and you can actually do it in the village. Hyuga-chan shook his head and reached out to grab the needle that Kuriarare Kushimaru stabbed. Kurigakure village is like this, the survival of the fittest. Terumi-mae is not surprised, this has become a tradition of their Kurigakure village. It's better now, but in the future blood fog period, the village of Kurigakure will only be more chaotic. How is that possible? A little white face can actually block my attack. Kuriarare Kushimaru looked incredulous. The guy he thought was a little white face actually grabbed his stitches and was not injured at all. Fragrance. If you get my clothes dirty, even 10 dog lives won't be enough for you to pay. Hyuga-chan squeezed his palm slightly. Click. The stitches, which are extremely hard, don't know what kind of material they are made of, just shatter into powder. Kuriarare Kushimaru's expression was dull, and his long knife and needle turned into powder. Angry, angry, angry. Anger kept rising, and Kuriarare Kushimaru yelled, I'm going to kill you. Those who have no brains, dare to shout. Hyuga-chan pouted in disdain, the difference in strength is so big, can't he see? If he is calm, perhaps Kuriarare Kushimaru can still consider the comparison of the strengths of the two sides, but Kuriarare Kushimaru has never calmed down. Humph. Frozen. When Kuriarare Kushimaru hit Hyuga-chan, Conan snorted coldly and released a strong chill, completely freezing Kuriarare Kushimaru in an instant. A little guy like you doesn't need your brother to do anything at all. Break it up for me. Conan gave a light drink, and the frozen Kuriarare Kushimaru shattered together with the ice cubes, all shattered into small ice particles, and then disappeared under the breeze. The onlookers gasped sharply, and both ninjas and ordinary people were frightened. Kuriarare Kushimaru, who had always been arrogant, died just like that, leaving no body behind. I have to court death. Hyuga-chen shook his head. If he had left before, Hyuga-chen would not care about a small person. He can only blame him for his bad luck. When he went out to meet Hyuga-chen and his party, it was destined to be his life. But even if he doesn't die now, he will be beaten to death by Might Dai in the future, and he won't live for long. Is there any reward for brother? Conan looked at Hyuga-chen expectantly. No. Hyuga-chen spread his hands. Humph. Smelly brother. Conan shook his head unhappily. Hyuga-chen smiled, then lowered his head and kissed Conan's face. Conan looked at Hyuga 0.8-chen, both happy and shy. It would be better if he could go further, such as kissing. As for going further, the shy Conan didn't dare to think about it. Terumi-mei pursed her lips, gave Conan an angry look, and then gave Hyuga-chen a stern look. Look what I'm doing. I tell you, even if you keep looking at me, I won't kiss you. Ah, who wants you to kiss this big pervert? Let me die. Terumi-mei raised her fist high in embarrassment and hit Hyuga-chen's hateful face. Want to slap me in the face? Don't I want to lose face? Hyuga-chen turned around to avoid Terumi-mei's fist, then reached out to hold Terumi-mei in his arms, staring at her with azure blue eyes. Under Hyuga-chen's gentle gaze, Terumi-mei's face turned Yuhi, the anger on her face disappeared, her strength disappeared, and she lay quietly in Hyuga-chen's arms. Chapter 258 Kill Munashi Jinpachi and leave Kurigakure village. You two, have you hugged enough? Conan reached out and pulled Terumi-mei away, with a slightly jealous tone. Of course not, Conan, are you jealous? Let me tell you, Chen's embrace is so warm, I still linger now. Terumi-mei smiled lightly, reached out and brushed her hair, a bit charming. Humph, vixen. Conan looked at Terumi-mei, who was obviously better developed than her, with a bit of jealousy on her face. She is obviously a few years older than Terumi-mei, but her figure is not at all superior to Terumi-mei, especially the plump pair. It is estimated that only Tsunade can beat her. Conan is most wary of Terumi-mei. She doesn't want Terumi-mei to end up in front of her. Oh tilde no way, Chen just likes me more, go be jealous. Terumi-mei smiled coquettishly, wrapping her arms around Hyuga-chen's arms. Terumi-mei, who was blinking, her eyes emitting a little starlight, and using that pair of plump to stimulate herself, Hyuga-chen couldn't stand it. Terumi-mei at this time was simply a seductive goblin. Damn it, damn it. Conan's little face passed Yuhi. Ha ha ha. Kushina couldn't help laughing when she saw Conan's angry look. Conan looked at Kushina resentfully, really sad. Terumi-mei, do you want to go home and take a look? Hyuga-chen asked. Terumi-mei shook her head. In that case, let's leave the village of Kurigakure. Hyuga-chen said. Do you want to leave after killing someone? Munashi Jinpachi said coldly. He had a good relationship with Kuriarare Kushimaru, and when he learned that Kuriarare Kushimaru was killed, Munashi Jinpachi was very angry and killed him directly. Master, they killed Master Kuriarare Kushimaru. I wonder if you want to give me some reward. A ninja next to Munashi Jinpachi asked, rubbing his hands. The reason why Munashi Jinpachi knew that Kuriarare Kushimaru was dead was informed by the ninja in front of him. Ha ha tilde. Munashi Jinpachi laughed mockingly, and he dared to ask him for a reward. He really didn't know whether to live or die. An explosion sounded, and the ninja who informed him had been blown into a pile of minced meat. Munashi Jinpachi looked at Hyuga-chen's group with cold-blooded eyes, revealing ultimate-s killing intent. What kind of cat and dog? They all jumped out. Hyuga-chen pouted in annoyance, Looking at the weird knife in this guy's hand, it must be a group of 7 ninja knives. This is Munashi Jinpachi, the user of Blast Knife and Droplet, and Kuriarer Kushimaru, known as the Ruthless Duo, who killed brothers and killed teachers, very cold-blooded and cruel. Terumi Mei introduced. As a Kurigakure villager, Terumi Mei is very aware of these news, and it is no secret in Kurigakure village. I'm also not interested in knowing who he is. Since he came to die, it means that he has lived enough. After going to the Pure Land, help me say hello to Otsutsuki Hagoromo. All killing ash bones. A sharp gray bone shot out of his hand, stabbing Munashi Jinpachi, and the poor Munashi Jinpachi collapsed and disappeared. Is it so cruel? Killing people doesn't even leave a body. Sister Shizune whispered. Glancing at the blasting knife and droplets that fell on the ground, Hyuga-chan turned around and pulled the girls away. What blasting swords and sprays, Hyuga-chan couldn't look down on at all. Because of Hyuga-chan's visit to Kurigakure village lost 2 elite jonin, and most importantly, permanently lost the long knife and needle. Has Hyuga-chan gone? Uchiha Madara asked cautiously. Yes Madara-sama, Hyuga-chan has left Kurigakure village, but Kuriarer Kushimaru and Munashi Jinpachi, among the 7 ninja swordsmen, were killed by Hyuga-chan. 3 generations of Mizukage replied respectfully. If the people of the village of Kurigakure were to see that their beloved Mizukage was so servile, they would have driven him down from the Mizukage's position. It's not a matter of you go down first. Uchiha Madara waved his hand and threw the 3 generations of Mizukage away. 3 generations of Mizukage have been completely controlled by him, so there is no need to be polite to him, and Uchiha Madara will not be polite to others. 3 generations of Mizukage left, and Uchiha Madara sat in the courtyard, lost in thought. Alas, I'm the only one left, it's a miserable life. Hyuga-chan was lying on a wooden board, which was moving fast on the sea. Yesterday the girls asked Hyuga-chan to accompany them to go shopping, and this morning, Hyuga-chan sneaked away in order to avoid shopping. The women who go shopping are terrifyingly powerful, and he can't stand it, so it's better to sneak away first. They are asking me for your address. You said if I should tell them or send them directly to you. Shui Haim's voice came to Hyuga-chan's mind. Don't, Hyuga-chan said quickly, if the girls caught him, he would have a headache. It's okay for me to help you, but you have to promise me a condition. Shui Haim said his ultimate goal. What conditions? Hyuga-chan didn't agree, but asked cautiously. I haven't thought about this yet. I'll tell you when I think about it, whether you agree or not. Okay, I promise you, Hyuga-chan bit Kiba and said. He believed that with what he knew about Yukihaime, if he refused, Yukihaime would definitely send Tsunade, Makoto, Sarah and the others over. It's good to say it first, it must not be too much. Hyuga-chan said to Shui Haim in advance. Don't worry, I won't embarrass you. Yeah, Hyuga-chan responded, closing his eyes and enjoying the sunshine. The Third Ninja War is getting more and more intense. Namikaze Minato successfully attacked Kumogakure's transport force and destroyed Kumogakure's supplies, putting Kumogakure into a more difficult situation, but Kumogakure showed no signs of retreating, and I also successfully took over the 637th place in the 4th generation of Reikage. In the face of the destruction of materials, the 4th generation Reikage I came up with a method, that is, robbing, or directly robbing the civilians of the Fire Country. They have no shortage of kunai detonating charms. The only thing they lack is medicine. They are running out of medicines, but the 4th generation of Reikage is still holding on, vowing to fight Konoha to the end. However, because of the volcano in front of him, Kumogakure had no choice but to take a detour from the opposite Konoha. So the Kumogakure battleground is optimistic for Konoha, while the other battlegrounds are a bit bad. The battlefield of Rain Country, the battle between Sunagakure, Iwagakure and Konoha. Konoha was beaten and retreated, mainly because the number of ninjas was not as good as that of Sunagakure and Iwagakure. The worst part is the battle with Kurigakure. The main force to resist Kurigakure is the two big Konoha families of Uchiha and Hyuga, as well as other families of Konoha. But the Uchiha family trespassed in Kaiden fire style and was crushed to death by Kurigakure, who was good at Suiten water style. The Hyuga family is even better. Even the lunatic of the Kagaya family can't beat them, and the other major families can't beat the Kurigakure. There are many families in Konoha, including Kekkei Genkei and occult owners, but the village of Kurigakure is not inferior to Konoha. The secret hydration technique of the ghost lamp family alone has caused all the Konoha families to suffer. This is the reason why the 3 generations of Mizukage didn't make a move, and the 7 ninja swordsmen didn't all go to the battlefield, otherwise Konoha would end up being swept away. Chapter 259 Inkov's Nagato. A phantom flashed by, and more than a dozen ninjas on the opposite side covered their necks at the same time, and finally fell to the ground in despair. Looking at the ninja who fell clutching his neck, Azuki Yugao had a grim expression. Yugao is really amazing, the swordsmanship is really gorgeous, I also want to learn swordsmanship. Enko looked at the unrestrained Azuki Yugao with admiration. No wonder Yugao chose to learn swordsmanship, the force of swordsmanship is high, Enko thought. It's just a group of Chunin and Genin. Azuki Yugao shook his head, not showing any pride. How about we head to the battlefield? Enko suggested, rolling his eyes. No, I think you're crazy. Kurenai Yuhi refused without hesitation. Enko, the battlefield is really too dangerous. Although our strength is good, there are many people who are stronger than us. Nohara Rin also said. Then do we just kill those bandits, or these wandering ninjas, they are all weak and pitiful. Enko pointed at the corpses on the ground and said depressedly. And I have the Kekkei Genkei Iwadun, even if we can't beat it, we can run away, Enko said, clenching his fists. That's right, under the guidance of Hyuga Chen, Enko fused Kekkei Genkei Iwandun, which is also the first Kekkei Genkei that Hyuga Chen tinkered with. However, although she has a rock escape, Enko can't use the Super S-level ninjutsu of the rock giant that is comparable to Susanoo, and her chakra is not enough to release. Why don't you try it? These wandering ninjas are not our opponents at all. If they say they are Chunin, they are actually Genin's fighting power. Azuki Yugao said. In her heart, she also wanted to go to the battlefield to sharpen her swordsmanship and become stronger. Okay. Kurenai Yuhi finally nodded, agreeing to go to the battlefield. In fact, she also wanted to go to the battlefield to see it. Yeah, that's great, Sister Yuhi, I really love you to death. Enko shouted excitedly, holding Kurenai Yuhi in both hands. Do you want to be so excited? Kurenai Yuhi was a little speechless, even though she was yearning for the battlefield in her heart, she would not be like Enko, shouting and jumping with joy. The 4 young apprentices of Hyugachin went to the battlefield of the Land of Rain together, because they were closer to the Land of Rain. Arriving in the Land of Rain soon, the 4 girls looked at the Land of Rain, where it was raining lightly, and felt a little uncomfortable. To be honest, no one will adapt to the weather in the Land of Rain, as long as they are not used to it. It is humid and dark, and the air exudes a rotten breath. The water vapor is filled with water, and the fog is constantly in the water country, which is much stronger than the rain country. What's going on here? It's raining all the time, it's really annoying, and I don't know if it's cursed. Enko's expression was a little irritated. Anyone who sees this sunless sky will feel extremely irritable. Hey, what do you see that group of people are doing? Is it a group of cult organizations? Nohara Rin, who was wearing a cloak, pointed to the front. It really seems to be a cult. Kurenai Yuhi frowned. I saw a man with yellow hair in the distance, giving a speech with a very excited expression, and the people listening to him were also enthusiastic. Anyone who sees this scene will think that some cult organization is developing believers. The person who spoke was Yahiko, who was looking for like-minded candidates at this time, pulling them into Akatsuki and fulfilling the ideal of world peace. Akatsuki has been around for a few years, and it's developing very well. It has to be said that Yahiko is also a person with a charismatic personality, otherwise Akatsuki would not be able to be established, and Akatsuki would be developed to such a small scale that even Hanzo would be afraid. This is also related to Yahiko's ideological goals. Yahiko advocates not relying on extreme force to create world peace, and building a bridge of hope for peace through human-to-human communication. As naive as it may seem, this is a bowl of chicken soup for the soul of those in the war-torn country of Rain. Yahiko drew a pie, which tempted countless people to join in and fight for it. But this also has hidden dangers, that is, once they can't see the hope of fulfilling this ideal, they will eventually leave. Akatsuki is in real crisis, and these guys are absolutely unreliable. Let me, Lord Mitarashi Anko, end this ugly scene. Anko-fan clenched his fists, and his eyes gleamed. Without waiting for Kurenai Yuhi to stop him, Anko jumped a few times and came to Yahiko and the others, pinching his waist and pointing at them. Stupid evil organization, meeting me, Mitarashi Anko, is your doomsday. Today, I will get rid of your group of cancers for the ninja world. Yahiko and the others suddenly appeared, and Mitarashi Anko, who was full of middle too, was stunned, and looked at Anko with a confused look, as if he was looking at a mentally handicapped child. Who are you? Nagato stood up, looked at Anko warily, and pulled Yahiko behind him to protect him. It can be seen from here that Nagato and Yahiko are definitely true love, or Nagato is unrequited love of Yahiko. I am the one who came to destroy your evil cult organization, accept the punishment of Anko-sama. Rock escape, rock beast. No one can stop Anko, who is suffering from the second illness. Without giving Yahiko and the others a chance to speak, Anko hand seal with both hands, a ferocious rock behemoth with a shape very similar to a tiger, suddenly burrowed out of the ground. Then I took pictures of Nagato and Yahiko. The 30-meter-high giant beast, with one paw covering Nagato and Yahiko, was completely trivial. Humph! Nagato snorted coldly, having completely defined Anko as an enemy. Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign. The huge repulsive force knocked Anko's rock beast flying out, and several pieces of rocks fell off his body. However, Anko was not worried at all. Rock giants, like rock giants, have the ability to repair themselves, and ordinary people can't deal with them at all. Anko, why are you so impulsive? Nohara Rin blamed. The other party seems to have Kekkei Genkei, which is somewhat similar to the one used by the teacher, so be careful. Azuki Yugao pulled out Muramame and looked at Nagato and Yahiko with a wary expression. As for those who were given chicken soup for the soul by Yahiko, they have all run away, and the 30-meter-high beast looks scary. You don't have to intervene, these two guys will be handed over to me Anko. It is my duty to fight crime. Anko said while patting his budding breasts. For no reason, why are you attacking us? Yahiko asked angrily. You still dare to question me, the evil organization is so mad, it will die. Anko let out a coquettish cry, and the giant rock beast rushed towards Nagato. Nagato frowned, this thing didn't seem to be easy to handle, and used the Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign again to knock the rock giant into the air. Now Nagato's attacks are very scarce, and Rinnegan's techniques can't be used fully. The strongest one is Shinra Tensei Almighty Push, and the other ninjutsu that Jiraiya has taught can't help this beast at all. Futon, Wind Style, Daitapa, Great Breakthrough. Yahiko couldn't let Nagato fight alone, and quickly used ninjutsu to help Nagato. But they don't know any advanced ninjutsu, and Jiraiya won't teach them two advanced ninjutsu. This is a matter of principle. After all, Nagato and Yahiko are not from Konoha. Even if Jiraiya believes that Nagato is the son of prophecy and someone who changes the ninja world, he will not teach them two advanced ninjutsu without authorization. Chapter 260 Hyuga Chen arrives. Do you need our help? Kurenai Yuhi asked quickly as he watched Yahiko start, frowning. No, I can deal with them alone. Anko clenched his fists and said confidently. Bansho Tenon, Universal Pull. Nagato Rinnegan fluctuated, and a black hole-like gravitational force suddenly erupted from his hand, and the gravitational force pulled Anko's body. At the same time, a handful of kunai appeared in Nagato's hand. After waiting to suck Anko over, he immediately gave her a fatal blow. He wouldn't be merciful just because Anko was a girl, only Yahiko was in his eyes. Feeling the huge gravitational force, Anko screamed badly and tried to stabilize his body, but the gravitational force erupted too suddenly, and Anko couldn't react in time. Just then, Azuki Yugao grabbed Anko's arm and yanked her back. This guy's ninjutsu is exactly the same as that of the bad teacher. Anko's expression finally became serious. The abuse of vegetables for a period of time made her look down on other people a little bit. If it wasn't for Azuki Yugao to hold her back, she might have fallen. Don't be rude, let's do it together. Azuki Yugao instantly turned into a streamer, and Muramameru completely showed his edge. Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign. Nagato once again released this Rinnegan ninjutsu, which combines attack and defense. Although Nagato only has this move to attack now, this move can also be eaten all over the sky. Just approaching Nagato, Azuki Yugao, who was about to slash down with his sword, was suddenly knocked into the air by the repulsion force, groaned, and was slightly injured. Yugao, are you alright? Let me see. Nohara Rin hurried over to check on Azuki Yugao's situation. I'm fine, it's just a minor injury. Azuki Yugao shook his head, letting Nohara Rin not have to worry. Nohara Rin still checked uneasy, and he was relieved after finding that Azuki Yugao really had nothing to do with it. You dare to hurt my good sister, give me death. Rock escape, rock cage. Anko, angry, directly used the strongest ninjutsu she could use. This ninjutsu Hugichin used it to kill 3000 Kumogakure. Even if Anko performed it, it was not as good as what Hugichin used to do, but it was amazing. Looking at the rapidly shrinking cage, Nagato's expression remained unchanged, and he used the Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign again. Under the action of the repulsive force, the shrunken rock blade began to crack, but it healed again before the rock blade was broken. This time Nagato was finally shocked. Every time the Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign is used, it takes at least 5 seconds to cool down. Within these 5 seconds, he cannot release the Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign again. Nagato, don't worry about me, just escape by yourself. Yahiko looked at Nagato firmly. He knew that Nagato was worried about him and did not release Shinra Tensei Almighty Push with all his strength, so he couldn't open the cage. Nagato shook his head. Shinra Tensei Almighty Push is a 360-degree indiscriminate attack, and his ability to control the repulsion to avoid Yahiko is his limit. If he uses the Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign with all his strength, he cannot control the repulsion to avoid Yahiko, and will attack together with Yahiko. At that time, Yahiko will surely die. Nagato would rather let him die than watch Yahiko die. Hurry up, you let Nagato go. If I offend you, then let me do it and let Nagato leave. Yahiko shouted loudly. Yahiko, I have a solution. The suction seal. Nagato used the suction seal to absorb this ninjutsu. Although the rock cage is powerful, it is still broken by Rinnegan's ability. What? Anko was shocked. It was broken so easily. This was her strongest ninjutsu. Yahiko, leave first. Nagato said to Yahiko. Yeah, Nagato, be careful yourself. Yahiko nodded and turned to leave. He knew that he was not strong, and staying here would only drag Nagato. After Yahiko left, Nagato's face immediately turned cold. Be careful. Kurenai Yuhi looked vigilant, and at the same time couldn't help but glared at Anko. Before he went to the battlefield, he got into trouble. Anko stuck out his tongue. God, Luo, Heaven, Jung. Nagato shouted word by word. The huge gravitational force broke out completely, several times stronger than before. Anko immediately blocked the 30-meter giant beast in front. Kurenai Yuhi and the others with undiminished power. At this time, there was only one thought in their hearts, and that was the end. How could they resist such a powerful attack? However, when the repulsion hit them, they found that they were unscathed, and they had nothing to do. What's going on here? Could it be that the opponent's attack is to scare people, but in fact it has no power? And the most shocking thing was Nagato. Seeing that the 4 girls of Azuki Yugao had nothing to do, his jaw dropped to the ground in shock. So you are also a paper tiger. I thought you were so powerful. Anko looked at Nagato with contempt. Paper tiger, you big head. Hyuga-chen suddenly appeared behind Anko and tapped her head hard. It hurts. Anko squatted on the ground holding his head, with a pitiful expression. Teacher. Kurenai Yuhi looked at the sudden appearance of Hyuga-chen, first surprised, then overjoyed. Bad teacher, you still bully me. Do you know that I almost died just now? Anko stood up and threw himself into Hyuga-chan's arms. Kurenai Yuhi, Nohara Rin and Azuki Yugao are also close to Hyuga-chen, and I feel that only by being close to Hyuga-chen can I feel safe. You guys are really going to cause trouble. If I hadn't left a life-saving means on you, you would all be dead now. Hyuga-chen blamed her mouth, but a doting smile appeared on her face. No wonder we'll be fine, so it was the teacher who saved us. Nohara Rin suddenly realized. I didn't expect you to be fine, bad teacher. Anko raised his head from Hyuga-chan's arms. You hurry up and get me down, and you even slandered me as a bad teacher. Hyuga-chen said with a fierce face. I won't come down. Anko hugged Hyuga-chen tightly and stuck out his tongue at Hyuga-chen. Nohara Rin, Kurenai Yuhi, and Azuki Yugao looked at Anko with envious expressions, but they also wanted to seek comfort in Hyuga-chen's arms. Just now, they thought they were going to die, but now thinking of that scene, they still have some lingering fears. Okay, come down quickly. Hyuga-chen reached out and pulled Anko down. Anko reluctantly looked at Hyuga-chen's arms with a reluctant look on his face. Nagato on the side was expressionless. Everyone seemed to ignore him. Very embarrassed. Don't I want to lose face for Nagato? Hyuga-chen, who seemed to hear Nagato's heartbeat and comforted the 4 little apprentices, then looked at Nagato, and the smile on his face instantly disappeared without a trace. He, Hyuga-chen, is an extremely protective person. Although the 4 little apprentices were not injured, it did not mean that Hyuga-chen would let Nagato go.